Time for Bomber Banter. Now over to Fiona.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bomber Banter. Welcome to the fan cams. It's post-game, round 18 versus Richmond. I'm so sorry. I am literally lost for words because I can't understand what it is I just watched. That wasn't a football game. That was a preseason game, if that. We've seen better standard in the preseason. I'm lost for words. I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need some help. Oh, see, on top of all that, on top of the abysmal display we just had to watch tonight, the software that you do this through has changed all of the buttons down here, and I don't know, and I've lost all my... I spent the first 2 months familiarizing myself with, oh, here we go. Okay. Right. I was looking for the link to put in here, and I'm going to need your help. So please join me so I don't have to talk into a void about this game. I think we should go through the stats. Bomber Boy, thank you for your support. That is starting me off on a very good note. Thank you, my friend. I'm fucking angry, Fiona, fuming. That was the most piss-poor game of football I have seen from this club in a long time. Skill level was absolutely horrific. On nights like this, I question why I still support this team. I question, you are so valid in those thoughts. My immediate reaction is absolutely agree. But thank you again, Bomber Boy. The support is amazing. I don't know what that was. It looks like a slow motion preseason game. That's all I can say. There was no method to the madness. It didn't even look. I mean, I wasn't at the game, so to the people who were at the game or watching maybe a bit closer than I was in the end, did it look like the effort was completely non-existent? Because it didn't even look like it to me. They just looked incapable. They just literally looked incapable of playing football. Who have I got with me? Brett. I know that would have killed you, Brett. I know. Dan. Thanks for being here, Dan. What the hell did I just watch? No game plan, no structure, bad team selection. Well, that's interesting because when we were saying how good the team selection was, is it safe to say that Perkins and Gresham aren't the problem? Is that what it's safe to say? Shaky Snake is the luckiest man or woman, I don't know who you are, of all time or whatever you identify as. You missed the game. Well, the universe is looking out for you because lucky you, don't go anywhere near that game again. You were replumbing a septic tank. So are you a plumber? Is that... I think if we talked about plumbing on this show tonight, I think that will bring me more joy than discussing that game. And we have Coanda calling in from the Philippines. Hello, friend. Yes, lots of excuses are going to be made for that game. How many are valid? I guess that's what we have to decipher tonight. So let's do it, I guess. Can we please get John Saffron and some sage out to the hang ASAP? Oh, my God. Nick Martin, possible ACL. This could be a joke. That can't be conditioning, the surface. This is just pure, that's bad luck. It was so innocuous as well. He didn't even look like he went over the boundary all that hard. Hey, Dejan. Just, wow, I can't even begin to comprehend that game. I wish I was watching your septic tank. Hey, TD, how are you? Dark times ahead. Hey, Troy, how are you? If we learned anything, one thing stands out to me. We don't play well against the chaos ball. Yeah. Any hint of pressure, any hint of chaos, and we just panic, which just plays into our abysmal skill level, and then chaos happens. Shaky snake. Maybe cancel the rewatch and do 3 hours of sensory deprivation. Oh my God. Thanks for reminding me. I have to rewatch that. Oh God. We kicked 4 goals. There was an entire quarter where neither team kicked a goal. An entire quarter of AFL football in a professional league. Wrap your head around that. Wow. Hey, Jeremy, how are you? Been a dreadful day from start to finish. Might go to bed early. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. You can come on and chat to me if you like, to us, or just hang out in the chat. We're here for you. We're absolutely here for you. If there's anything I can do, let me know. Great to be here. I appreciate you and the hard work. Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm honoured to be hopefully here to help you all cathartic and do therapy. If you do the rewatch, you speak fair. I might have to organise a welfare check. Yeah, fair. So fair. Absolutely fair. Hey, Mariella, thank you. This is helping. Very depressing, unfortunately, I know, but I get to hang out with you legends for the next hour or however long until I lose my goddamn mind, I guess. Yeah. Steve, how are you? Can we have a priority pick 2 or 3? Yeah. When's the point that we say we want a priority pick? Because are you reassured though? No. Right now I'm not reassured. Maybe tomorrow I'll wake up and I'll see the light, or someone will come on here and talk to me and convince me to see some light, but I see no light. I see only darkness right now. I do. This is the kind of game that worries me. Especially after last week when we played so well for 3 quarters against a really quality opponent. Look at last night, what they did to Collingwood. I know it was at home and blah, blah, blah. Collingwood came back, but we can't just forget that we didn't play 3 good quarters of football. Someone explain it to me. God has forsaken our team and our fan camps. Oh boy, this is the first time since I started, since Anzac Day, that I have seriously considered, wow, I might be talking to myself here all night. I might just be here for 20 minutes, but there's a lot of you here, so thank you. Let's chat. Hey, Hados, I wish Brad would explain our game plan. Yeah, well, there wasn't one tonight. We can all agree on that. Hey, Shelley, how are you? Honestly, all I can say is shit is fucked. Yeah, feels like shit is fucked. Hey, you 890. Wow, you hit the nail on the head when you said it wasn't even a good preseason game. No effort or fight. Yeah. There was a sense of resignation. I'm not going to say it looked like they weren't putting in effort, but it certainly felt like there was a resignation amongst them that, that pretend I'm going to go for the football, that pretend effort where they think they're putting in the effort. And it kind of looks like that, but the evidence, and I go back to the evidence, what is in front of me. I haven't looked at the stats, but let's go through them in a sec and see what story they paint, because they will paint a completely different picture to what we actually saw, I think. Hello, young Brett. How are you, my friend?
Hello, Fiona.
How are you? Are you on your way home? You stayed till the end?
Yes, I'm on the train home now.
What did you think? What did you think, Brett?
We gave effort. I don't like it. Doesn't make me very happy to say this, but there are things we need to address, and quickly.
Agreed. I completely agree. What is the first thing that you would address? What's the first thing that you would do on Monday at training?
Not either goal kicking or trying to keep the footing. Like
or skills, maybe?
50. Yes.
I think goal kicking is a really good one, Brett, because we got it into our forward 50 as many times as Richmond did, but we did nothing with it. The entry into the forward 50 was absolutely abysmal, right?
Yes, and it wasn't all our fault. We don't get the same free kicks as everyone else. That one to put them in front, and then we don't get the same down the other end 30 seconds later.
Yeah, it does feel
So
like we get our. It does feel like we get our free kicks in defence, isn't it? The free kick ledger is in our
Yes.
favour, but it feels like we get a lot of them in defence, doesn't it?
Yes. Because we've already tried his guts out each week, but he keeps getting pinned all the time. It's not his fault.
He's under a lot of pressure. He's under a lot of pressure.
Yes.
So what does your guy? Hey Brett, what does your guy Matt Guelphy have to do to get back in the team?
Hit gold in VFL, I think.
Did you watch the VFL today?
Yeah, some of it. Like,
And how'd he go?
I was impressed with the start. We matched them 1 goal each, and then we went down by 10 goals, I think, as I remember.
We did 69 points. Big loss.
Yeah.
Very disappointing, Brett, but I think all we can do is get back to work. We got to send all the prayers for poor Nick Martin, who's suspected ACL, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. Yeah.
Oh, no, is it an ACL? I thought it was a hip injury at first. Like,
Yeah,
first it was a knee, then it was a hip.
Yeah, nah, it's a yep. They're pretty convinced it's an ACL, Brett.
All
right,
makes it even
all right,
harder
Brett.
now.
It does, and it just extends our injury list to concerning levels. All right, Brett,
Yes.
get home safely, my friend, and I'll see you during the week, okay?
Thank you.
Good night.
I'll join you in the
Bye,
chat.
Brett.
Bye.
Thanks for calling in,
Bye.
Brett. You're a legend. Love you.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
G Pat, you legend. Here's $2 for the group therapy fund. Oh God, my gosh, we should put a $2 in every time we say we need a catharsis or have therapy. Moby, big love, big love. You guys are already making me feel better. Slowly, getting there. Bomber boy, did Martin do his ACL? I was at the game and saw him limp off, but fuck me, can't take this. Hate to say this, but Richmond's future looking brighter. Potentially, yeah. So Cal Toomey is reporting that, early signs it's an ACL, and I think that's the word coming out of the club. So that is all kinds of depressing, especially doing it at this time of year. I mean, he's the ultra professional, so he'll probably be back really, really soon, and probably earlier than what's kind of usual for an ACL. But I tell you what, how do you explain that now? How do you explain that kind of injury? Somebody help me understand this. I'm honestly I'm lost for words, guys. I'm lost for words. Oh, look who's changed their tune. Solution. You missed Perkins. Yep. Hey, Richard, how are you? Outcoached. Richmond was not cleaner. They just tackled more in the last. That's interesting because let's look at these stats, right? So the stat, you guys know, if you watch my previews and my reviews, you know, and the forecasts, you know I love and always am watching with the fine tooth comb the tackles inside 50. And we've been sitting at around 7 or 8 average for the season. And we had 12 to their 7 tonight, tackles inside 50. But it's what happened after that. So we put in the effort to actually put the pressure on, create a turnover, but then there was no craft, there was no energy, there was no creativity to actually make turn those into goals. And then when you couple that with the very poor entries, it looks like the midfield had only just met the forwards this week. It looked like they had no idea how they work. And I know they haven't been together long, 5-6 games, but fuck me dead. Like surely you put on a better display and you put in more effort to actually create some opportunities for your forwards. I'm not going to buy that they're positioned wrong or they're getting in each other's spaces. Yes, but if I can see a better option, or I can identify a better option for our midfielders to kick, how are they not? So tackles, it was 50 to 56, which means we had 56 tackles to their 50. That means we're getting to the ball essentially the same amount of times. That's very low tackle count as it is. I mean, what else sticks out? The marks, they had 113 to our 86. Mostly they overtook us in uncontested marks, which means they controlled the ball more. Contested possessions, they had 128 to our 117. Nothing stands out as, hugely concerning. Paul Wan, how are you? We won't win a single game this season. It's looking like that, isn't it? Although doesn't this make you feel like we're going to lose? We lose tonight, but we'll win against GWS or Carlton, and then that'll be it. No real news on the Martin, as far as I know, except assessing the knee. Yep. Look, let's be honest. We're probably not going to know until he has a scan. But I tell you, it didn't look good. Yeah. Didn't look good. Yeah, good reminder, Paul on. Yep, Kako Hussein next year and Swede coming in. Yeah, exactly. Assessing the knee, awareness, didn't look too bad. If Brad Scott says any of those things, you just mark that down for season ending, a year on the sidelines. That's it. Dejan, 100% they screaming past us on their development track. Well, I don't know about that. I know the initial gut reaction right now is because we're all hurt and we're all in shock from that. It feels like that, but I don't think I agree. They were absolutely atrocious last week. And yes, it was Geelong, but yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily think that. Hey, Sticks, back in March, we were taking the piss out of Carlton for losing to Richmond in week 1, and we did it again in May when we backed it up with a win, but now we've lost and now we're the joke. Yep. The difference, though, here is Carlton was supposed to win the premiership this year. Carlton was supposed to finish no lower than top 4, top 6 at a stretch. That's the difference. We've known we're in a rebuild and that this list is not good enough and that we're a team full of kids. That is my only difference. But, yeah. We suck. No two ways about it. Caddy was rubbish tonight. I don't think we made it easy for him, but he didn't have a great game, no. Shaky. Guelphy just needs intact hamstrings and a solid ACL to get back into this side. I mean, anybody walking on 2 legs right now is considered a walk-up start and healthy. Literally, there's going to be no one left in the VFL. Will we make it to the end of this season without a debut? Like, forget matching Fitzroy in 13 debutants. We're going to smash that. Me. Hey, Scotty, you're a brave woman, Fiona. Credit to you doing this post-game. One of the hardest games I have watched in years. Yeah, one of the hardest fan cams I've had to get myself up for this year, including the 90-plus points against Bulldogs and Geelong. Hey, Felix. That was fun. Yeah, that was fun. Do you feel like coming on and chatting to me? Why not? Pain. Oh, the pain. Hey, Chris, you can do the ACL test where the lower leg slides up the knee, easy to diagnose, but MRI to confirm. Yeah. That's why I think they'd have a pretty good idea, but Hey, Cooper, how are you? Generally disgraceful. Yeah, let's hear what Joe has to say, everyone. Joe, make us feel better. Will you do that, or are you just going to tell us how shit we are?
Make us feel better. That wasn't my intention. All right. How can I make us feel
don't
better?
have to, sorry. This is no, sorry. I take that back. You absolutely don't have to. Tell us how shit we are and how we're fucked.
I was about to say, hey, the last few weeks, the way for us to make us feel better is to say, hey, no injuries tonight, but alas, we got 2 of them, not 1, but 2. So, mates, it's hard. Okay, you know what? Positive. The draft picks are going to be wonderful at the end of the year. The draft picks are going to be chef's kiss. So
who stood out for you tonight?
I guess who stood out? I mean, Roberts is such a goer. We love Archie Roberts. The guy's a jet. He is future captain. Absolutely, he is future captain of this club. And if the other boys could just learn from him, catch some of that infectious attitude from him in terms of not giving a shit to anyone and standing his ground and really flying the flag, the team would be so much better if these players all sort of learned from him. So I thought he was obviously the standout. I thought Kako was definitely a standout as well. Like, so much of our ball movement, trying to get the ball moving forward, especially, in the second and third quarter, I felt a lot of it was thanks to him pushing really up the ground, running, taking bounces, and he was lowering the eyes. He's the one who hit up Peter Wright, on top of the 50-meter arc. He wasn't just blindly bombing it like so many of his other more experienced teammates were. I definitely loved Kako's game. Yeah, 100%.
I didn't see
100%.
anyone aside from Kako. Sorry to interrupt you, Joe. I didn't see anyone aside from Kako even fucking attempt to lower their eyes. Even attempt to lower their eyes. Even if they were going to get pummeled by a player, there was just no attempt at all. No want to be brave and to pull something off.
100%. And that's why, in our group chat, I was saying that there's a lack of heart in the side because it is pure laziness and you're just absolving yourself of all responsibility if you just sink your foot into the ball and bomb it long. You're just making it someone else's problem. You're not trying to connect.
Hot potato.
Hot potato. Exactly. It's someone else's problem. Just get it out of there. I'm not going to risk myself being under a bit more pressure to take my time to try and find the target. Where is my teammate standing? Where can I put this ball to my teammate's advantage? Where is the care for your fellow teammate? Yep. Look how I know someone was saying that Caddy had a really shocking game today. To be honest, I feel for the kid. He had to bust his gut time and time and time again because nothing was easy. Nothing was easy. There was no simple leads. There was no dropping the ball in front of him. Everything was high and long. Fly for this, fly for that, run that way, run there, having 2 people on him, having 3 people there. Bro, I was tired watching this kid bust his gut everywhere. You know what I mean? Nothing was easy.
That's exhausting. That's exhausting.
It was exhausting. It's not like Jeremy Cameron, who in this game today, the Cats lost and he was injured, but there were still kicks that went to his advantage that he could take a mark at. There was not a single easy opportunity for any of our forwards in the forward line. And that's why you have such a I used to 4 goals for 55 inside 50s. Are we blaming that on the forwards?
No,
I'll say there were occasions, sure. There were occasions, but man, the midfield, the kicking inside was atrocious.
Yeah. At the midfield, how we say sometimes, how we say the mids and the half forwards are putting our backs under too much pressure, and that's why the backs are getting, are drowning back there. Tonight was all about the midfielders and the half-backs.
Yeah.
It was their pure, and you used the perfect word, Joe, the laziness, the pure laziness and ineptitude to actually, and I'm sorry to put the heat on Zach Merritt, but he was part of the problem. To the boundary, to those little scrubber kicks that had no vision, had no measure about them. And I'm sorry, but you're leading the way here. You are leading the way. You have to set the tone, especially when Martin goes down and you know he's our second best ball user. So I actually think Redmond, he did a lot of bombing, but at least he tried to try and move the ball forward and shift the ball forward. Thank God for Ridley. I thought he had a really good name. He was intercepting was really good, and I felt again he instills a sense of calm in you. You just feel so calm in his orbit, basically. But I tell you what, the midfielders absolutely lost it tonight, and like the balance when you had when the centre bounce was Blackiston, Hobbs, Sardis, and possibly Setterfield. What do you think the outcome was every time? Not good.
Yeah, exactly. It was rinse and repeat. It was ridiculous. So I thought Goldie obviously battles manfully all the time. I love Goldie, and I did enjoy the cameo of Blackiston playing in the ruck for the first time. I thought he wasn't, altogether beaten there. So he was okay first time.
I forgot he was a ruckman. When he was going up, I thought, oh, that's nice that our backman's helping out with the ruck duties. I forgot for a second he was actually a ruckman. So bloody hell. I mean, just a reminder to anybody, if you also forgot, Blackiston is actually a ruckman. That is his spot.
Correct. Exactly. First time rucking for the Bombers. It's crazy. Yeah. We drafted this guy in the mid-season draft, and everyone's like, "What the hell? Why did we draft a ruck for? He must be coming in to ruck straight away." Next thing we know, he's playing in the back line because we had no tools. So that was a bit bizarre. So look, shout out to Blackiston. I finally got a chance to play his actual position for the first time all year. Wish it was in better circumstances, but it was. Sardis. I didn't think Sardis's kicking was the worst today, or maybe the problem was Sardis. Maybe Sardis's kicking is so bad that he came into the side and then corrupted everybody else. I don't know if that's possible. Same thing with the ACL potentially for Martin. Maybe there is a curse. Maybe there is a curse at the hangar. I don't know. You can't rule that out, Fiona.
I mean, on Sardis, I'm just having a look at his stats. I want to see how many. Why doesn't the? Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just not very good at this. But the stats, when you click on a player from the actual team on the computer, and you click on you're on the game and you click on them, right? It doesn't go to their stats of the game.
No, it does not. You have to go to the actual game itself.
That's so dumb.
And then you have to go to player stats.
Okay, well, forget that. I mean, why is the AFL so dumb? I mean,
all right, Sardis, I can tell you, he had 57.9% disposal efficiency, so 58%.
Okay, that's not great.
No, not that great. There was a few players, Durham only went at 50%.
That's shocking.
You know what I mean?
That's bad. That's bad even for your chaotic. Like, you don't need your chaotic outside, inside runners, midfielders to be at 70, 80% like you want your McGraths and your Redmonds to be at. But they got to be up at around 60%.
Yeah.
Like, anything below that is bad.
I want to say, and I also, we can't absolve Brad Scott of some of the blame as well. Yep. Like, I think we can certainly sink the boots into the players because obviously the players are to blame as well. But Brad Scott has to wear some of this as well today because it was 4 quarters of this. It's not like we had one bad quarter, for example. It was like this from start to finish, and it never got better. It never got better. It never changed. So a lot of it has to be in the coach's box as well. I don't know what they said. I don't know what they did, but it clearly did not work. The coach's box wasn't proper.
What would you have done? Let's talk about what he could have done. So the first quarter, it wasn't shocking. Like, I didn't see, did you see the next 3 quarters coming? I didn't see the second quarter coming. Like, what could we have changed? What could we have done? Given that Nick Martin went off so early, I can appreciate that throws a bit of a spanner in the works. All your plans go out the window. I understand.
Yes.
But I thought we adjusted pretty well in the first quarter. So
Yes.
what could Brad Scott have done from there on in?
What you got to do is you need to make sure that you have good spread and you have to attack the ball moving. You got to be a bit more direct. You can't be doing this slow. And if you are going to set up a backwards kick, at least have it where you're honoring the guy running past and try and lock the ball in with repeat inside 50s constantly, high pressure game. I didn't think our pressure game was great at all today. I thought it was a very lackadaisical almost. Too often the ball was bouncing it out of our forward 50. You got to play a bit more man-on-man. And if you put a score on Richmond, you win. Richmond struggled to score a big score themselves. It should have been clear as day that you got to go high pressure, high press, try and create some fumbles, try and get hold on the balls. We haven't got Perkins and we haven't got Gresham now. So everyone playing in the forward line ought to be applying lots of pressure. So try and play that high press and create some and break them. They are breakable. They were begging to be broken. They were so afraid to make mistakes that they were playing like we were. Stop, start, going around in circles, not sure what to do. We had to go.
And they were handing it back to our backs. They were handing it straight back. They were handing it straight back to Ridley and Laverty and Blackiston. They were Intercepting with their eyes closed. Ridley didn't even look like he was working up a sweat. They were. You're right. They were like toying with us to say take it. Like they were gifting it us, and we're like, nah, not tonight.
We refused to go for it. There was just no hunger. It felt like there was no desire in the group to go out there and to really win it.
Do you know how you know that's true? Do you know how you know exactly what you just said is true? Because when we looked at Archie Roberts, you could see the complete difference in demeanour and intent. He was at an 8.5 and above, and the rest of them was sitting at about a 6 and a 5. The fact that we can decipher, that we can see such a difference in all that intent and that the energy levels, the fact that there was such a difference between Archie Roberts and then Daylight, that's how you know that the rest of them just had didn't want to, felt like they really didn't want to be there tonight.
Yeah. They just felt maybe that it was going to happen for us. They're worse than we are. They're shitter than we are. It's expected that she'll be right. We'll get the win, and it doesn't, and things will just work out fine. And even when we were playing having a bit of desperation in the last few minutes to try and win the game, it was like a blind desperation as opposed to I'm going to really put my body on the line and win this at all costs. It was just, we're flinging feet at the ball, where we're trying to go for the hero all or nothing sort of play. But it was all desperate. It never felt like it was controlled aggression. It just felt like, oh no, we're about to lose. I can't believe this is happening. And then we just sort of doing these wild punches as opposed to a cool, calm, collected karate master that just pinpoints, pressure point here, pressure point there, kicking the nuts, bye-bye, good night, you're done. For us, we were just doing those sort of the blind swinging. And it was really disappointing. I feel like as a club, we definitely took a backward step today. It was an embarrassing display on primetime television, and everyone's laughing at us. And I feel like part of it, again, the reason why I don't feel like I've always maintained that Brad Scott isn't going to be the man that wins us the flag, because of the way that his messaging always was, we're almost like we're not ready for it. Our messaging is always, it's a young group, we're developing. I just don't feel like the ceiling really is the limit for us. I don't feel like the players are inspired to try and, I don't know, it's just weird. It's almost like the bigotry of low expectations. Like, don't expect too much from us. We have all of these injuries. We have all of these problems. And I feel like the players are almost buying into it a little bit personally. So it just feels like there's not enough people in the group that feel like they're capable of reaching that super high level to win. and to achieve something this year. It almost feels like we're going through the motions a little bit now, knowing that we're not going to play finals. I just feel like there has to be a switch. There has to be something there to drive the group, to energize them, because they didn't feel energized. And I feel like they just walked into this, again, simply going through the motions. You know, Snazzy's saying there's only one way up from here. There is another way, though. You know, once you hit the bottom, it's not necessary that you're going to go straight back up again. You could just plateau and stay on the bottom for a while. I want them to know that there has to be urgency, because that's the way Caddy was playing at the start of the year, with urgency. He wants to be the best he can be right here, right now. I want the rest of the team to feel that way. It didn't feel like that this week at all.
It's interesting because I will say psychologically and as a general universal understanding, improvement and an upward trajectory and getting to from, you know, a low level to up, it's not linear. It's not literally going to be like this. It's literally, you have to go backwards to then go forwards because, and I was saying this to my 6-year-old niece the other day, I took her ice skating and she was having a meltdown because she couldn't get it. She was falling and she was sweating because she couldn't get it. And I say, I kept saying to her, you have to fall because you have to know what it's like to fall down so then you can get up and let go of the side. You have to fall and go backwards so you can then go forwards and you can know what it feels like to, you know, take that next step forward. So I will say that going backwards is not necessarily a bad thing. So I know we all feel like we went backwards tonight. And I will say to you, it did feel like two teams tonight who knew they weren't playing finals and we're just like, we'll just go out. If we get a kick, we get a kick. But it felt like that attitude was from Richmond too. They were no better than us. We just, we were just like, in the end, we were just like, all right, you take it.
We are our own worst enemy. We are our own worst enemy. Seriously. They didn't beat us today. They couldn't beat anybody. They were atrocious today. Yeah. We beat ourselves. And that's where the frustration comes in. Because we know that this was a game that they were begging us to win. But so often, that last passage of play, they just broke down. So, look, I'm sure you got other people looking to get on tonight.
Okay, I love it. I love it. This is what it's for, Joe. You know, this is the place. This is the place to be. This is where we are all coming to Cathart and talk about how fucking shit that was. And I'm sorry. I know some of my older folk, lovely older folk, really don't necessarily enjoy the swearing, but I am an imperfect person and this is a swearing kind of night. So apologies in advance, but the profanities are probably going to be loud and free. I'm sorry tonight. So, Joe, thank you so much. I mean, do you want to give me your best on if there was one?
I'll say the best on for us was Kako. It was very early on. It was looking like it was going to be the skipper. Yeah. But geez, tags really take him out of the game, don't they? Yeah. Tags, I don't know. I felt like he was getting better at breaking the tag, but I don't know how invested he is.
I think he had a disappointing. I thought he had a disappointing leadership game tonight, and so did McGrath for that matter. I don't think we can let him off the hook tonight in terms of his leadership. He was in a forward line that were absolute babies. They were babies in every sense of the word. He should have been standing tall, and I just felt like he played really timid in his leadership and in his performance as well. So very disappointing on all fronts. There is literally no win. The AFL sport lost tonight with that game. They should, in fact, just delete it from the archives and pretend it didn't happen.
I can't believe they put us on prime time Saturday night, Essendon versus Richmond. Like, this is prime time. This was a clear as day example of a game that should have been played 3:20 p.m. on a Sunday. Heck, even 4:15. This should have been a graveyard shift on a Sunday. Yes. What the hell are they doing, putting us on Saturday so that everyone can see just how bad our skills are. So I'll
The
go.
only saving grace was there as another who won actually from that Hawthorn Freo game, but that was the only saving grace, Joe, that there was a
Freo.
corresponding
Exactly.
Freo won.
301. I'll give the three to Kako. I'll give the 2 to Roberts, and I'll give the 1 to. You know what? I'll give 1 to Rids. Loved Rids.
Okay.
Loved Rids' game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll go 3 to Kako because I feel like he's the only one who gave us any forward drive. 2 to Roberts and 1 to Rids.
All right, Joe. Thank you so much for joining me. I do feel better after that splurge, so thank you so much.
Anytime.
I'll see you in the chat.
Calm the Dons.
Good night.
Maybe 1. We'll win 1 more game. It's not over yet. I think we'll win 1 game this year, and it'll come at a time you don't expect it. But we'll win 1, I reckon.
All right.
All right.
Put that in the books,
Night,
everyone.
Fiona. See you guys.
Bye. See you in the chat. Bye. Hey, Corey, how are you? What do you got? You're giving Archie Roberts 3 votes. That would be my 3 votes too. Cax 2, 1 Jordan. Oof, Corey, you have nailed the votes. That is exactly how I saw it. Well done. Well done. Hey, Mark, how are you? Are some of our players just happy to be playing AFL? It felt like that tonight. They were in, aside from, the 3 that Corey mentioned, they all were in 5th gear, like maybe 2nd, if that. I'm talking about a 10-gear car. That's not how cars work, is it? I don't know. Is that what how do you speak about manual car gears? 1 gear, 2 gear, whatever. Hey, James, how are you? The older folk can fuck right if they don't like it. Yeah, I mean, right. True that. I mean, but I do want to make it a very welcoming place and space for everybody. But unfortunately, imperfect person and sad, depressed person, that's not a great combination. Shaky Snake, Paul Martin of the season is fucked. Please get mercy rule. Let it end. Oh, my God. Let it end. Let it end. Oh, Scotty, so sorry to say this, but Brad Scott confirms Nick Martin has most certainly done his ACL. Yeah. I mean, as if this game wasn't bad enough. It's like the universe is saying, I'm just going to pour some vinegar on that open wound. Literally. Who have we got? Richard, I need to see you, my friend.
Sorry, Fiona. I want to put up front. I don't have a camera, so I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
If you want to cut it short now, I understand, but it's up to you.
Okay, well, I'll give you 2 seconds.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Well, no, not 2 seconds. I'll give you 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Well, I have to say up front, I was actually out tonight, so I didn't watch the game, but I was sort of watching the scores as I was going, and definitely not happy with that result. But I'm sort of looking at it as more of a macro view of the overall season.
Okay.
Looking at the off season, I basically saw this whole year as a write-off. I was kind of with Solution when he was sort of assessing the season. The fact that we didn't re-sign Stringer, we didn't extend Laverty, we didn't make those short-term decisions. I get the feeling the club, or at least Brad and Rosa, knew this year was a write-off from the start, in a sense that we need to get younger, we need to bottom out, and unfortunately, as shit as it is right now, this is what bottoming out looks like. We're bottom 4, Richmond's bottom 4, so. The injuries obviously exacerbate that, but this is really what we need to do. This is as shit as it is. We need to do this because we haven't done this. We haven't done this properly for 15, 20 years, whatever it is.
Right.
We've needed to.
Right.
And I mean, obviously there will need to be a positive outcome eventually from it, but it's clear, you can clearly see how many times have these same senior players, when they need to step up, they don't step up, apart from maybe merit. Something happens, Martin goes down, we need other players to step up, they won't do it. How many times has that happened? Not just this year, previous years. We played the bottom team on the ladder, we keep losing to them, even when we were supposed to be supposedly a finals team. It's just the same frailties, same poor mentality, poor standards that have happened, that have come from before, like you've said in the past as well, like Joe said, and that needs to be cleaned out, essentially. I still.
You're right. It's
I
it's like we got what we all. It's like we got what we all know and have been saying all year. But when it hit us in the face so directly tonight, it knocked us all off our feet.
Oh yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I'm not happy with this result either, obviously.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and nobody should be happy with this result. But if if we need to look long term with it, it does help our draft hand. We did get more games into the kids.
Yeah.
It does make
Yep.
it more clear that players like potentially Redmond, McGrath, who else, Wright, aren't long term fixes.
Yep.
They're here, they're okay, but they're not. They can't be your core team, the core of your team. Essentially, we need to
Yeah,
find
I
a new
think.
core.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's when the chips are down, you need players who are going to stand up and step up, and it can't always be left to merit, as you say. So I think Dersma also had a really poor night on the leadership level too. So anyway, Richard, I'm going to let you go. Next time, please ring on with a camera because we'd absolutely love to see you face to face. You've got some absolutely great insights.
Well, I don't know how good my face would be for the camera, but
Everyone's
appreciate the
face,
time anyway.
everyone's face is welcome here. This is a clean slate. We are all on the same level because we are all pained Bomber fans, and so your face is absolutely welcome to you in whatever shape or form it is. So I would absolutely love to see you and talk to you next time.
Oh, good. Appreciate what you do,
Thank
Fiona.
you, Richard.
Thanks very much.
See you later. Bye. Aiden.
Hello.
Hello, Aiden. Welcome to your debut. Sorry it has to be on such a shocking shithouse night, but this is why we're here.
It's fine. It's fine. I usually watch this while going to work, but yeah.
Oh, what do you do?
I work in a warehouse, but I usually watch this
Okay.
afterwards because I'll be asleep at the time. But
Okay, so no work tonight for you?
thank God, no. Although I wouldn't
but
mind
what did
being
you
up.
have to do? What did you do in your life to have to watch that game now and have to sit at home and sit with it?
Well, I was meant to go to my girlfriend's, and
Yeah.
she decided to do something else. I'm like, oh, it's fine. I'll watch Essendon.
Oh no! All right, give it to
Not
me. What
smart
did you
too.
think? What's your take?
Oh, I've seen worse. I mean, I've never seen a successful Essendon, so
Oh,
I mean, I'd expect better from our senior players. It's
yeah.
it's really concerning to me when the safest I feel in our D50 is Zach Johnson or Roberts kicking out.
Oh my God, how have we come to this? Two babies.
I
That's
don't know.
anybody else, and it could be turned over.
Yeah, but you watch those two, you're like, oh, it's fine. But as soon as Redmond or Laverty get the ball in their hands, it's like we're not finding a mark here.
Oh, you're so right. You're so right.
Yeah.
How did it come to like Redmond? I never would have thought that I would feel unsafe when the ball is in Redmond's hands. But he's just as culpable in all of this, kicking it to two on ones and long bombs and.
But he's always been doing that. The thing we liked about him was that he showed toughness and run, and he's been lacking it recently, which is a bigger
Yeah.
problem.
That's where his strength is. I
Yeah,
think the rot
and-
started when he lost that. Do you feel like that?
Yeah, it was. What was it? It was 2023 when Brad started to get him playing a bit more defensively, and he's lost it since.
Yes. So true. So
Yeah.
so do you think that was obviously it's not fair that he doesn't play that he's not defensively accountable. So it's a good thing that Brad has tried to make him more defensively accountable, but that's also meant that he's lost that flair to attack. So what's the right way? Do we say, "Oh, don't worry about being defensively accountable, just
I think
just
it needs to
attack?"
be a bit more balanced.
Okay. Yep.
He needs to find the balance in his game to get it right. Like you can see at times McGrath tries, but his disposal isn't there.
Yeah.
But he knows when to run, unlike Redmond, where his disposal is always bomb it long if he can't find an option.
Yeah.
But honestly,
What's your take on our? Yeah,
I was going to say, you hear the stories from clubs who have made it to flags. So Geelong in 2007, where the young group has stood up and had an honest conversation about themselves, about where they want to go. And quite frankly, that's what our younger leaders in Durham, Martin, Caldwell, and even the emerging kids need to talk about now. This is not something for the senior players to do, quite frankly.
it's a good point. That's the core that are going to take us out, move us forward, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah. So to me, it's always that group that's 24. So your Dersmans, Durham, Martin, they need to be the ones leading it here if they want to go somewhere, because they're the ones that should be there by the time we're competing.
Do you think they have it in them?
Martin, yes. Durham, yes. From the way Dersma talks, and I've heard Scotty on the lunchtime catch-up podcast talk about him, yes.
Yep.
The others, I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But I like Zach Johnson as a player. He was recruited for his leadership abilities as well. And at times tonight, you could see it. He was directing the back line.
Yeah.
But it's also a concern when your back line's resting on a kid who's 18 years old.
And who was the sub, mind you?
Yeah. To be fair, I reckon he was only the sub because he didn't have a preseason.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have to keep in mind that these kids are probably they're wearing a big logo. I would be shocked if they didn't plan to give Caddy a break at some stage, but with Langford down and not a lot of depth in that area, that Caddy is just playing every game. I would be shocked if they didn't have if they thought that all these kids were going to be playing this many consecutive games, even if they're playing well, because kids need a rest and they need to be managed.
Yeah, they do. And you can see Caddy really up one game, down the next. Up one game,
right.
down the next.
Yes.
So he was up for Brisbane, quiet Carlton, up for Freo, quiet again.
Very good point. That's been the pattern with him.
Yeah, so he also needs to find that consistency, but
yeah.
Also, Broad basically had him today. But at the
He
same
did.
time, you can't win when it's 2v1 every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of things he also does have to work on. He's running under the ball a bit too much.
Running under the ball.
And he always goes for the chest mark when it's out in front, and it's he could take it right out in front, but always goes for the chest mark.
Do you think that's because he's not confident in his strength, his arm strength yet? Like, because he's still got the spaghetti arms.
He's got those long arms. Like, no one would beat him to it if he had them right out in front.
True. Really true. Very true. Yeah. But he needs to attempt it once. He just needs to nail a nice, strong mark out in front, and then he'll have confidence that he can do it.
It's something I like about Archer May. Archer May goes for the arms out in front a lot more often.
That's because he's got the guns.
He takes so many marks on the wing. Yeah. He's a big boy too.
Big boy. And yeah, he's pretty confident. He's got the strut. He's confident. I think Caddy is more confident in his ability to leap and take it in the. But I think that will build. That will build for sure. There's nothing in me that is worried about that. But yeah, you're right. There are moments. That's another good point. Like we can see how he runs under the ball, but he is taking chest marks when he could be taking the marks out in front, and they wouldn't get near him, the defenders.
Yeah. The other one I liked today was Blackiston.
Yeah.
And at the moment, I'm keeping him over Laverty at the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, because he too has the 6-month contract. So I think fair to say, I think he's earned himself another.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Lab, you've been a great person, but this kid looks like he'd be good for a depth option should we need it.
What do you think of him in the ruck?
Ruck or defender. And I liked his rucking today as well. He's very athletic, jumps at the ball fast, and he weaves in and out of traffic quite easily.
Yes, I actually do like that about him. He does have more of an athletic profile than I gave him credit for. The weaving, you're right, he does do that. He's one of Solutions claimed him as his own, so he'll be very happy to hear you say that. But you're right, endurance, and he's got quite good endurance as well, I feel, being a ruck, which is holding him in good stead too.
Yeah, he feels very like a ruck version of Caddy at times. I get the feeling.
Yeah, yep. But he's 203 centimeters too. So because he's like, you don't expect him to be so agile for 203 centimeters. So quite impressed with him.
Yeah, but yeah, he's only played 4 games as well, which is 4 or 5. So
I wonder what would happen. So Aiden, what would happen, right, if tomorrow or next week? I know this is probably cruel to put this hypothetical out there for you Bomber fans in the chat and Aiden, but what would happen if next week Zach Reed was right to go and so was Ben Mackay? Does poor old Blackiston go back to the VFL?
Yeah. You hate to say it, but he's there for depth for a reason.
True.
He was never going to be our first choice ruck. He was never going to be our first choice defender. That's why he's there, and I'm sure he understands that.
Very true.
And
I get too attached, but this is why you're here, to just remind me that ruthlessness. This is a football club, Fiona. It's not a therapy club. It's a football club. True.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's like, at least in the VFL, you get told this is what you need to do when you come in. This is what you're going to be doing, and you've been working on it for this long. Just repeat the same thing.
Yeah. That's a good point. Did you happen to catch any of the VFL today?
No, I didn't.
Oh, apparently it was not good.
I've heard that.
So I've
heard we've got destroyed in the ruck.
Yeah. Yeah, because obviously whoever, in case any of you don't know, in the ruck, Visentini was held back. So obviously that's a very clear direction and choice that he's going to, a good guess that he's going to come in Thursday night against GWS, because that's a big ask for Goldie to then back up again Thursday night. So the ruck, I think it was something like 40-11 hit outs or something like that. Yeah, it was atrocious.
Yeah, I saw Ryan was in the ruck, which is
not
great when you're returning from injury.
Not what we want at all. Oh my gosh, yeah.
First game back from injury and getting mauled.
Oh my God, imagine that. Yeah, that's not what you want. You don't want, and we don't want our developing forward rucking. But as Shaky Snake you say, it's not a football club, it's a rehab group. That's exactly right. Do we need it, or do we need to be adding to the rehab group? All right, quick one before I let you go, Aiden. Who are you bringing in for Martin, who has almost certainly done his ACL? Who you gonna bring in for him next week?
I don't even know if we have anyone.
No, we don't.
I'd bring in Guelphy, and then I want to see Kako rotated through the midfield. Like, just try it. He's got speed, and he was able to play it. And then with our draft picks next year, we've obviously got the 2 younger small forwards, one of which is a mid forward, and at least with those 2 in the future, they can rotate.
Nice. I like your thinking.
And yeah, Hobbs on ball a bit as well. That would be good too.
Yes, shaky snake all over that. Yeah. That's I love that. I love that. Hobbs more on ball and Kako up around the contest more. I think he's shown. I mean, he obviously doesn't have the endurance, so obviously just cameos in there. Yep, Moby coming in with another good suggestion. Sardar Hooley, at least he gives us run. Yep. Worst case, you push Sardi up on a wing and you give Clark and Luau little stints in the midfield, at least outside runners, not obviously in and under. Okay. Noel saying Guelphy did very little in the VFL. Well, I heard most of them did very little. I did get told that Davey had an okay game. So perhaps there's another little option. Poor Smart. Let's not even talk about Oscar Smart, the poor kid. What a shocking day today.
Guelphy you'd want to bring in to play on Whitfield, though, considering we're playing GWS.
Great call. He's done it in the past and he's done it well.
Yeah.
Brilliant, Aiden. Well, well done on an incredible debut on Bomber Banter. I fully expect to see you back on your non-working shifts for another
Yeah,
chat.
I'll be back.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Aiden.
Thank you. Enjoy your night.
Bye. Solution. What have you got for me?
Well, firstly, Aiden did brilliantly.
Yes, he
Aiden
did. How good.
magnificently.
Loved
Look,
it.
I've only come on for one reason, just quickly. I want to be a beacon of hope for everybody. So I want to go
Here
back to
we
a bit
go.
of history.
Don't fall for this, everybody. Don't fall. Do not fall
No.
for this.
Look, we all know history repeats, right? So in 2006, there was a famous game, last round, Essendon versus Carlton, was known as the Bryce Gibbs Cup. And it was one of the worst games of football ever played. Carlton lost, but they won because Bryce Gibbs at the time was the highly touted. He was going to be the best player. Just Richards telling me to lift my chair up. I'm chilling out. It's like 11:30. Anyway, where I'm going is I thought, look, people are playing checkers. Brad Scott is playing 5D interdimensional chess. That was a tanking masterclass.
Oh, I see
You
where
think
this is going.
If we win that game, we likely will catapult St Kilda.
Ooh, he's done the numbers.
Yeah. I've had a look at the ladder. That's about as close to statistics as I get. Whole
Okay,
numbers. Go on. Divisible by 4 is about all I look at these days.
Okay.
There's a chance that North wins another game, and we could, and St Kilda will win another game. I suspect, possibly 2. We could finish third last, and then suddenly, we've got these academy players. Does that do we trade down again and maybe get another draft pick the following year? Do we look at that fellow over in Perth that we like? There's all these suddenly options that might come our way. So I think that was masterclass tanking. So everybody relax, chill. We know who the deadwood is, right? We know who we need to back up the truck, send a bunch of players to the knackery. That hasn't changed. We know who the good young players are.
Can you explain for non-past viewers or listeners to the Windy Hill Windsock podcast, the OG podcast, what's the knackery?
Well, we just do a list review where we liken the players to horses. We have Group 1 horses, we have city horses, country, and then we send players to the knackery. We have very, very few group horses in this team. We've got Zach Merritt. Maybe one was injured today. Peace out, Trotsky. We have very, very few good experienced players. We basically need to clean them all out. So we need to build through the draft. Hey, who can hurt us? We went through the saga. We had our entire team suspended for a year. We lived through the top-ups. We lived through multiple iterations of baby bombers. I think this is baby bomber Mark 27.
Well,
literally 27. We've had that many of them. Things are never as bad or as good as they seem. Today was a bad night. Worst game of football than it was a result. Like, my God, can we thank the AFL that 60 to 70% of the state are unable to watch this game tonight because of the fact that there's no free-to-air Saturday night games anymore. Thank you, AFL.
So they got something right. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, they finally got one thing right. Yeah, but yeah, it's like, it is what it is. It's not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing. There you go. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, I think, I absolutely get what you're saying. but and I know we're all emotional because it's fresh, and I do get it. But I guess in a year that has been so lackluster, we've been holding on to, at least we had a quarter. At least we had a quarter that we could see some shining lights. We could see the kids excel. Tonight, I felt like I didn't even see a passage where we seamlessly got it from the back to the forward with a beautiful forward pass to a leading forward, and midfielder lowered their eyes. I didn't feel like I saw any hint of glimmer tonight, and that's against Richmond.
But did you see that from either team at any stage?
No. Richmond were trying.
It was just from the TV. It looked like there were 3 men behind the ball at each end of the field.
Yeah, we put a spare back. Yeah,
it was a putrid game. Like, let's consign it to the dustbin of history, never to be seen or spoken of again. It was awful. But we're not going to give a shit about this stupid game when come to the first come the draft next year, or this year I should say, end of the season, and we've got all these wonderful cards that we can play. So that's
what do you say to this
negative
on this? I mean, I don't know about Butters, but Reid, this will feel very familiar to Harley Reid. What he saw tonight, he's been languishing at the West Coast. He's been losing every game. Tonight is familiar for Harley Reid. Zach Butters maybe not, but I have seen this sentiment solution a lot. That how is this going to inspire potential trades to want to come to Essendon? And do you want to just remind everybody what Rory Sloane said during the week about if the injury, when who was it that asked if the injuries are going to put players off for coming? Why do players switch teams?
Cash. Give me the cash money.
Or success. Not injury.
Well, I think later in the career, success. But I think Harley Reid has an elite mentality. I think he comes to this club. I'm a bit 50-50 on whether we give the farm away to get him, because I think it might cost a farm or at least half a farm.
Absolutely.
But I think he'd bring a mentality to this club, and he's not worried about anything other than raising his game and everyone else's game. So I
think he's the kind of guy who wants to be part of the solution. Pardon the pun.
Yes, that's right. That's right. I mean, 3/4 time last week, we were extremely bullish about our young kids. That hasn't changed in 5 quarters. As bad as that game was, and as bad as last quarter was last week, it's what we're seeing from the younger players that we need to hang our hopes on, because we could spend life in football in purgatory, 9th and 10th, and maybe finish 8th and lose the final. But do we really want another decade of that?
Yeah. Look, I think all year we've been saying, we're rebuilding and but along the rebuild, we haven't like completely bottomed out, but this was a bottom out. This was a sign of a rebuild if I've ever seen one. And probably, do you feel worse tonight than you did against like Geelong, 90-point loss, and Adelaide?
I was laughing tonight.
Chat?
No, I was laughing.
Chat, do you feel worse tonight or with the 90-point losses? Because why do I feel like people feel worse tonight?
It was a putrid game. Like, I didn't go to the game. So anybody who went to the game and feels like jumping off the West Gate on the way home, I can completely empathise and understand that sentiment. It was appalling to watch. But, we and also towards the end of the season, we've lost Nick Martin now. I think Setters is out as well with a foot, or is likely to be out. We're going to have more of these games, more of these quarters. It's not going to be a pretty end to the season. So just buckle in, brace yourself, think big picture, and let's look towards future seasons. Worse tonight, says Bomber Boy. It's kind of pick your poison,
True. It does feel a little bit like that. Well,
But anyway,
did that
I'm,
make
I'm
anybody?
usually captain negative, and I'm like,
You
I'm
are.
positive. I'm relatively
You
positive.
are. Okay, well, that must, if for any of you who don't know, his solution is usually the one to say, pack it in, like just transfer the club to Tasmania. So if you're seeing the bigger picture here, I mean, I do see it, but I'm just giving into the current emotional terribleness that I'm feeling right in this current moment. And I feel like I don't have the energy for it. And I think that's what a lot of us feel, because at least I was sustained by the quarters, as I said before, by those little moments that I was seeing in the past, half a dozen games. And tonight I didn't have anything to sustain me. And that is what I can't quite swallow right now.
But as you've said before, to me, and on our podcast, nothing goes up completely straight. You always get goes up, and then there's a bit of a dip, and it might go up and a bit of a dip. I'd still rather be us than some teams in the other trajectory. Carlton, for example.
Right. Rogue, this is exactly what Solution was saying, that the game was not on free to air, so the AFL got something right by not making people endure that sorry excuse. Sorry, it was a fraudulent to call it a professional AFL game, because it wasn't even a reserves game, to be quite honest. When both teams don't kick a goal in a quarter, and it's not because they're out pressuring each other or it's a back and forth, up and down, it's just absolute mediocrity, that is when you know something is very wrong.
Think of all the old people who can't even urinate unassisted in nursing homes, that were prevented from having their misery compounded by sitting in front of a TV watching this game. So many people missed out on this. This will be forgotten, trust me. There'll be jokes tomorrow. Who gives a fuck? As I said, we went through the saga. Nothing can hurt us. Think big picture.
It does feel like this. Yeah, and if worst case scenario, you just think of Carlton, who literally were tipped to finish top 4, top 6, and lost to Richmond, lost to Kangaroos. And actually, not to make everybody feel worse, but this is the first game that we have been favourites in under Brad Scott in the last 3 years. This is the first game that we have lost against a team below us on the ladder, and that we were meant to win. The first game in 3 years. So that sucks a lot.
5D chest, my friend. 5D chest.
I'm not familiar with 5D chest. I do know, is it 3D chest?
But 5D chest might be something different.
3D chess I'm familiar with from The Big Bang Theory and good old, what's his name? Sheldon. But 5D chess, this must be just a Brad Scott special.
Yeah, but we should emphasise chess, not chest.
What did I say? Chest?
I thought you might have said 5D chest.
I am familiar with the game of chess. I know you underestimate me, and I know nothing about horses and cars and geography.
I don't underestimate you at all.
I do know a little bit. Well, I'm hoping some of you feel better about that, about what Solution had to say. Are you going to leave us with any parting wisdom?
Big picture, that's all I'll say. And keep supporting the fan cams. Shout out to you, Fiona. Shout out to all the contributors. Get on and be part of the fun.
Thank you so much for your support.
It's just a game. It's just a game.
It is just a game, but it still does suck a lot.
Yeah.
All right, Solution, my friend. I love you. I will see you on Tuesday for Fiona's forecast. How fun. Actually, maybe Monday, because we play Thursday, just because the AFL likes to fuck with my trajectory. But that's fine. See you soon.
See ya. Go Bombers.
Good night. All right, before I bring in the next person, 2 things. Firstly, Wayno, you have my whole heart. Thank you so much, Wayno. Appreciate that so much. Appreciate you. Bomber Boy, I appreciate you very much. With Martin's ACL, I think this will be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Ray players leaving due to our fitness department. This ACL certainly, it kind of messes with my theories. Have you all watched my injury epidemic or just bad luck video that I put out going through all the contracts and some of the theories about our injuries. Well, this makes me rethink everything I spoke about in that video, because this doesn't feel like conditioning. Nick Martin is not the player who doesn't put everything into his prehab, rehab, start of games, recovery, warm-ups. He is the kind of guy who is at the Zach Merritt levels of preparing himself. So he does not fit the rest of the molds that we can maybe be holding to Langfords and Redmonds and Parishes. He doesn't fit this mold. So it certainly raises my eyebrows a little bit. The second thing is, before I move on, one second. If you are here and you have not done that, please just take a second to hit subscribe and hit the like button and the bell, whatever the bell friggin' does. That would be much appreciated. That's all on that. All right. Oh my gosh, look who is here with us. Herbertron, you legend. How are you? All right. Sam, you've been patient. How are you, my friend? Oh, you're on mute.
Oh,
there you are. Gotcha. How are you?
Good.
You're good.
I'm fine.
I think you're lying to me. There is a rule on the fan cams, no lying about how you feel. You tell me exactly how you feel and it's okay. Oh, you have?
I've had my breakdown, and then I went on Google and I got a photo of a tank from battleships, and I've just realized that this is going to be us for the last 6-7 odd weeks of the season, just tanking at the highest order for those draft picks.
Does it make you feel better knowing that maybe we are tanking?
Well, I don't want to see us tank because I want to see us win games, but it's very hard for me.
Oh, I've lost your sound. We can't hear you, Sam. Sam can't hear me either, apparently. Is it just me? Can you hear Sam? Chat, tell me if you can hear Sam, because I can't hear him. And he's not on mute. And he's gone. Okay. Okay. This is going wonderfully. This is Sam's internet is performing as well as. Oh, you're back.
I'm back.
You just okay. We couldn't hear you.
Okay.
We couldn't hear you, and then you disappeared. Okay, go.
All right.
Thanks, chat.
I feel that from the game, I think we were brought down to their level, and I was even feeling like that just before the game, and even going to the game, like I was just feeling like it's going to be one of those typical Essendon performances where we bring ourselves down to the opposition's level. The opposition, they kind of raise, they kind of go above a little bit, and we then make it hard for ourselves. And this time around, our luck sort of ran out, and I was driving home after the game, and it sort of got me thinking that maybe this was a loss that was coming and potentially needed to happen in order for us to go forward. And it's all that I can really say is that I think we just need to keep on persisting. It's going to be a long road. We just have to persist with all these young players as I think it is going to be their club. Like, it's going to be the, guys like Caddy, Kako, Roberts, Johnson, Clark, like Dersma. Like this is their team. this is their team. Guys like Wright, Redmond, Laverde, those Shield, those sort of guys, they're here now, but they're not going to be here in the long run.
Yeah, it certainly feels like that. It certainly feels like any joy, the only and any joy is coming from the young guns. I guess I suppose tonight it felt like the young guns got sucked into the vortex with the rest of the trash. You know, they've been floating and kind of floating on top and bringing us that joy at the heartbeat, you know, of the team. And tonight it felt like the day. I know we had spurts and moments from Kako, who was the best of the bunch, and Archie Roberts, but I don't know, holistically tonight, it just felt off to me. It really did. I don't know if that's because we just came down to Richmond's level. Do you think that could have been an issue, a part of it?
Yeah, that was. I was even feeling like that during the game. Like, I just felt that we gave them a sniff, and once you give teams, especially young teams, I think once you give them a sniff, and it's a small margin for them, it gives them a bit of a spurt in energy. Like, I mean, I just going back to round one when it was Richmond Carlton, you know, when Richmond started kicking a few goals, it just gave them a little bit of confidence and the belief that they could run over the top of Carlton. And you know, even North Melbourne would be the same thing. Even West Coast would be the same thing. Like, I remember when we played the Eagles earlier in the year over there, I was feeling the same. Like, we're bringing ourselves down to their level. They're kind of raising their levels. They kicked a few early goals, and it gave them the confidence. And although we did win the game, which was very lucky, it was one of those where, I know I keep changing the topic, but one of those results where it just papered over the cracks. And that's going back to my point where maybe this loss was coming. And ironically, it happens at the same time as the Fremantle-Hawthorn game. And you've got two players that we got rid of playing in that game at the same time in Massimo and Voss.
Yeah, just to dig the knife in a little bit. I mean, I think that's reading probably a little bit too much into it, and we're trying to hurt ourselves by if we dwell on that. I think we're hurting ourselves because I think we need to just focus on what's in front of us. But yeah, you're right. You make some really good points, and I think it was Moby who just said, I think the expectation was that we were just going to win this, even though we're not going great ourselves. The expectation was that we're just going to win. And that's what's hurting the most.
Yeah, I hate when you go into really anything with any sort of form of expectation, and then they just find a way to let you down. I think not once, to be quite honest, like, I think not once this year I've kind of gone really into any sort of game with any sort of expectation, just because I just and like most others, you just get let down because you expect so much to happen, and you get nothing really in return, and it's very, very disappointing. But we'll just have to move on and sort of take it as it comes.
You're right. And yeah, Coanda saying pretty much what you are saying. Like, that's, you got to phase them out. You got to, that's that crop are not taking us, you know, to the next level. It's the crop that you said, that you spoke about. And unfortunately, we have literally nothing else that we can do right now. You can't get rid of them all right now. A, because we have nothing to bring back in, and B, because that's one way to kill the kids and kill their confidence. So we literally just have to get through this friggin' season, get to the draft, look forward. Let's keep checking out Felix's channel, Everything Essendon, and all his draft insights and all the other draft experts around, and get excited about what's coming our way. We're in a privileged position where we can actually get excited because we know that two are definitely coming in the NGA boys, Swede and Al Achkar. So I think that's where we're at, right?
Yeah, 100%. I've got, I think, just 2 points about maybe just what the rest of the year might look like, and even after the season, and maybe a couple of others, but I'll see how I go. Depends how long this takes. But is it bad if, let's just say, maybe we win one more game? Like, looking at our run home, realistically, I think we can only really beat maybe St Kilda second last round. Maybe we beat Carlton in the last. Actually, no, it will be the second. Actually, no, because we've got the Gold Coast game. But you see what I mean. If we win maybe one more game, or maybe two more games, is it? And we haven't won since we played Richmond on Dreamtime. Is it bad for us to? Is it bad for the youngsters, the young players, that we keep on losing games? Is you don't want to build up this culture of just losing week after week, game after game.
Does it build resilience, though?
Absolutely.
Another way to look
just
at
like
it.
Most of life.
Just another way to look. Another way
Just
to look
like
at
most
it.
things in life.
That's right.
And
That's
then,
right, Sam.
Yeah.
Yep. Give me your last point.
Yeah, and then we all build up resilience, and then so Nick Martin possibly out for the season. Very important player. Lots of talk about Sardis, Ben Hobbs, and Parrish. Potentially one of those guys, maybe two of those guys getting traded. Does the Martin injury, if it is an ACL, does that maybe change anything?
In what sense? Change in what sense?
Does that change anything in potentially releasing or trading one of those guys come the end of the season?
It's a good question. I don't know. Chat, what do you think? What do you think, Sam? Does it?
Well, I think before this game, I probably thought that go.
Sam, we've lost you. We've lost you, but jump in the chat and let's see what the chat think about your hypothetical. Who have we got? Hey, Corey.
Hey, guys.
Good. Welcome to your debut on Bomber Banter. I'm so happy to have you.
Pleasure.
How are you feeling better? We've been going about an hour and a half. Do you feel any better?
Honestly, I'm as flat as my tyres out in the front on my car at the moment. Pretty
flat tyre? You got flat tyres? How'd you get flat tyres?
No, it was just a piss take, really.
Oh, right. Well, I actually got a flat tyre about like a month ago, so I thought you were actually being for real. But no. Tell me about it.
It's a very, very frustrating, frustrating game, to be honest. Our disposal efficiency was poor from minute one. And I'm going to put Zach Merritt in the gun. His disposal efficiency in the first half was 30% by foot. And as a captain, that you can't accept that.
What? 30%? That's got to be an all-time low for him. That has to be an all-time low. It has
to be. I did put it in the chat between Merritt, Setterfield, Durham and Sardis, 19 turnovers. You can't accept that in the midfield.
Oh, my God. I can't get over that 30%. That number.
Durham was 60% for the game. I know he's a hard in and under player, but he's better than that usually.
Yep. Wow. Wow, Corey. Yeah. No, I think it's only fair. He doesn't get let off, just because he's carried the team for a long time. Patrick Cripps has carried the team for a long time, and he's not getting let off at all. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think the coaching staff also have a part to blame as well, because why was there no intent to change the game plan after quarter time? Yeah, it was sort of working, but why did we go back from playing okay football to under 8s type?
Yeah. I mean, somebody said in the chat tonight, it doesn't feel like we have a plan B.
No, we don't. Absolutely, we don't.
At the very least, wouldn't you just go back to basics and just play one-on-one?
Well, yeah, but the AFL media guys don't see it that way. And the coaching staff don't see it that way, because if they were, it would have already changed.
Yeah, very good point. And as Moby says, thank you, Corey, where is the game day coaching? It's exactly the point. Like the ability to
this is where I find it frustrating. Yeah. Brett Stanton's our midfield coach. He wasn't a midfielder, he was an outside wingman. Ben Jacobs was a stoppage coach / tagger. I don't think he's a good enough midfielder. Our forward line coach in Jan Syracusa, he was a backman for most of his career and then was a forward when he left Bulldogs. Like, I think they're in the gun too. Sorry, they've got to say, pack your bags, see you later. Like, I'd like to get the fitness staff from Adelaide and Darren Burgess, but there's the chances of him coming's bloody more chance of the sky falling.
That's a fascinating point on the assistant coaches. Fascinating point, because you make such...
That's the biggest problem I think we have. It's also down to Brad Scott as a coach, but all 3 coaches I just mentioned should not be there next year. Simple as that.
You're right. What are their credentials? Like, how are they?
They're not good. They were average so-and-so players that got games. Brent Stanton was one of the worst outside wingmen to play 200 games. As a player, I'm sorry, he was not a good footballer. He was a good accumulator, like Tom Mitchell was at Hawthorn, but he was you can't. No one's going to say from an Essendon fan point of view that he was a star.
Yeah, it makes you question the standards. If your assistant coaches.
Well,
go on.
You can't accept mediocrity in this current day and age, and because we haven't won a final since I was 11 years old, and that was 2004. Blokes are sick of it. The fan base is sick of it.
Yep. Oh, I'm really fascinated now, and just hell bent on your point about the assistant coaches. Like, what if we had quality in the assistant coaches to actually support Brad, or some tactical coach?
If we had to say, from a defensive point of view, I know he's at St Kilda and he's probably going to be the next St Kilda coach. Corey Enright, from a backline point of view.
Yeah. From
a backline point of view, from a forward, like everyone says, Matthew Lloyd. Yeah, he's in the media, but he'll be the first person to bash Essendon as soon as the bloody
chips fall. That's exactly right.
And that's why I just don't think it's worth it. I honestly couldn't tell you who'd be a good forward coach, because I don't know many decent forward coaches out there that are available, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't know.
I think we need to go to work.
Get from another club. Like, I'd have to do a fair bit of investigating and a fair bit of digging to figure out who would be a decent coach to get.
Yeah.
I might post it in one of your podcasts during the week and see if I could find something to see who I'd think personally would be a better suit to for us than who we have, because the blokes we've got are not good enough. I'm sorry, they're not.
Yeah, it's a really good. It's a really good proposition that you pose. Brad Scott can only be as good. He's got to steer the ship. If his people under him who are managing the certain lines are not at elite levels, he can't do it all.
You're only as good as your weakest link in your team. And yeah, we've been absolutely beaten from pillar to post with injuries, but. Yeah. I love the fact that the kids are finally getting a go, but none of them, apart from maybe Angus Clark and maybe Zach Johnson, would have got a go compared to everybody else that's got an opportunity.
If we didn't have injuries, and we didn't have injuries,
absolutely. So what did I expect in the game? Honestly, I said to my mates who are Richmond supporters and other people, I said, you should beat us comfortably. I said, we'll beat you comfortably or not at all, and the latter happened.
Yeah, you nailed it.
She'll be right. Onwards to next week, whoever we've got. But unfortunately, it is GWS and it's in prime time. So, yeah.
Oh, we thought tonight was prime time. Unfortunately, on Thursday night, there's only one game. Nobody can switch over.
Yep. So, Cadman and Hogan could have 20 between them, to be honest with you.
Oh, my God.
Because we don't have anyone decent enough to man up on him. I'm sorry. I love Laverty, but his time's up.
Oh, my God.
Ridley's going to have that much help. It's not funny. It'll probably be a game where Zach Merritt might have to go back to the back line. I know he shouldn't, but he might have to go down there because the ball's going to spend 90% of the time down there.
Yeah. And Corey, we will have no Nick Martin.
We're in a bit of trouble for the rest of the year, to be honest. If we're going to win a game, it was this week, but unfortunately it didn't happen.
Oh, God. And we have no Nick Martin and possibly no Will Setterfield. So where we thought we had depth, we thought we had depth in the midfield. We thought we had depth in the midfield, and now it's all...
We do have depth, but the problem is they're all the same type of player. Sardis is an accumulator, but his disposal by foot is poor. Ben Hobbs is he's a treadmill runner, can't run faster than second gear. He can find the footy. He's tough like Durham is, but he's no better than Durham or Caldwell, who play his role. So that's why he plays half forward. Merritt is a very good accumulator and a very good user of the footy, usually. But his last 3 or 4 weeks, if you look back at his stats and his turnover ratio, it hasn't been great. Everyone goes, he had 40 touches, and they say, 3 votes. Great. I'd rather see someone like Jordan Ridley, even though he's a backman, had 20 disposals, everything, 100%. Archie Roberts, 31 disposals, was our best player by the length of Flemington Straight. I'd rather his ball use over Merritt's at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. His His ball use has let him down all year, and he's actually leading our team for turnovers.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like no one criticizes him about it because he's captain.
Yeah, and because people feel sorry for him, and Jeremy, I think in the chat was saying it doesn't help when Matthew Lloyd is saying, Merritt should leave for more opportunity.
Yeah, exactly right. So
Merritt is not the first player.
Why would you want him as a forward coach if he's going to say that? I'm sorry, but he's in the media to create headlines, just like Kane Corns is, and just like everyone else in the media to create headlines. 99 times out of 100, they write BS. But you just got to be the supporter base. In all honesty, they're more realist than anything. Like you're going to get your classic Nuffy supporters that think we're going to be good, but if we're really realistic about it, has to be a rebuild. And if we have to cut the list, cut it. Like, I'm sorry, Darcy Parish hasn't offered nothing for 4 years. I don't care if we get a 3rd round pick for him if he somehow becomes fit at the end of the year.
Yeah, and that's the other worry. Like we can't even get half of the team on the park at the moment. What's your theory on the injuries, Corey?
I'll give you a funny story about that because one of the companies I used to work for built the car park and did the clay and bulk up works before the ground got built at Essendon in 2010, 2011. Way back when. We didn't do the turf works. We did everything before that. Back when the hangar was first getting built. So I do have mates who do get stuck into me saying it's all your fault. You're the reason the ground's so hard. You spent too much time rolling it and making it flat, and that's why people are getting injured. And I'm like, it definitely wasn't me, mate.
They're going to come after you.
No, it's fine. It's fine. She'll be right.
So what do you think? Okay, so what do you think? What's your theory on the injuries then?
Well,
do you have one?
I don't know. There's a few stories and theories I have heard, but you don't know unless you're in the 4 walls, really, to be honest, to figure out what's going on. Like,
true.
I like when in some football clubs aspects they do, and this is nothing to do with football injuries, but they have the media, like your Essendon Footy Club media, or say Sydney's, from an example. Dean Cox was giving a speech in the rooms privately after the game. They were filming it. I would have loved to have seen Brad Scott absolutely tear the roof off these players after the game, after what we delivered tonight. Because it'd be entertaining viewing for one. And 2, I'd actually want to see what the players are really thinking. Like if they're open enough to speak about things. I know they're not going to show that sort of stuff, but that'd be something that'd be worth watching.
Yeah, I think the connection that the club has with the fans can certainly improve. I think they're trying, and they think they're probably doing better, but I would probably argue that it's not quite as relatable or organic as it should be. But that's where I'm hoping that to take Bomber Banter and to hopefully get that to a place where the club can actually use and see that this is the avenue for the fans and this is the voice of the fans here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No, but from the injury point that you'd had before, as I said, if you're inside the four walls, you'd be able to know a hell of a lot more. So to be honest, I think it's plain and simple bad luck, or their bodies just aren't conditioned well enough throughout pre-seasons, or they're not managing themselves well enough through trainings or game days to get themselves through games. Sometimes it's just bad luck, and it's just when people come down awkwardly like Nick Martin did. I knew straight away when they slowed it down that he had done his ACL, because I have done one before, and it was the same way that I did mine. So yeah, it's not.
I thought I feel so bad. I texted a friend and said, "Oh, he'll be fine. It was barely a tickle."
Nah, you could see his knee buckled in slow motion, and you could see the muscle on the outside of it go. So that was definite. It'll be a definite ACL, and I'm saying that from someone who has done an ACL before. He'll be out for 12 months, which means, like you said, someone maybe like a Hobbs, like as much as I love Hobbs' tenacity and aggression at the ball, he does do clumsy things. He's probably going to get midfield time now.
Yeah, I actually thought he was very good in the last, but he's not.
I'm a very brutal and honest person when it comes to my club the clubs I do support in general sport.
Love it.
And I think his last two games were really, really good. I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, we should trade him." I don't think we should. I think we can persist with him, but you've got basically a 1 or 2 year prove it deal, and if you can't improve in that time, then see ya. But he has to be there for depth because of this reason, because we've copped so many injuries. These guys have to play. Like, if we have a reasonably fully fit list next year, he's probably going to be in the VFL. Sardis is probably going to be in the VFL, or he's going to get traded, one of the two.
Yeah, so depth. He's a good depth player who, will come in and cover if we need, in the hope that we don't have this injury crisis next year if he stays. Or his trade, if we get something offered for him that's going to give us a better draft hand or something, then we consider it.
Get a third round pick. You probably only get a third round pick for him, maybe a fourth. Even though he was a top 10 pick when he got, or top 15 pick when he got drafted, and he was touted as one of the best inside mids in that draft. I just don't think he's lived up to his billing. His first 18 months of his career was really, really good. And I don't know if the chat agree with me on that point, but his first 18 months were good. And then he just hasn't improved. And the same with Archie Perkins and Nick Cox. As much as I love Nick Cox, I do love the fact that they've given him a chance to continue his career, but I don't see him getting a game in 2026. I don't see Archie Perkins getting a game in 2026 because they're just not up to it.
Yeah, there's a worry on them. There's a worry. There's also a worry on Reed. I mean, it's just all worry. These injuries, like if it's just a culmination of everything. The loss tonight, how we lost, the injuries piling up, nobody getting better, re-injuries. It's just culminating right now, and we're in the dark basically. But that's why we're here.
Absolutely, but as I said,
that's
the
why
AFL
we're
media.
here.
The AFL media are going to tear shreds off them this week, and they deserve every bit of it, to be honest with you, without being rude about it. And they're just going to have to cop it on the chin. They lost to a bottom three team, which is full of 12-year-olds, and just weren't simply good enough. They weren't good enough. I wasn't confident at all throughout the game, even though we kicked 3 goals in the first quarter and proceeded to kick 2 for the rest of the game. I do feel sorry for Nate Caddy because he was double teamed most of the night. The ball was kicked to the moon. How the hell are you going to mark that? Like, he's good in the air, but when you're constantly getting the ball by foot kicked as high as the goalpost height every time, you're not going to win the ball because the defenders are just going to block your way out. They're going to do everything they can to stop him. And I don't think, as much as people can criticise his game tonight, he just, the ball just wasn't good enough for him, delivered to him.
Totally agree, Corey. Well, thank you so much. You were absolutely incredible on your debut. Hope to see you back many times on the channel.
Absolutely.
Enjoy what's left of, are we past? Yeah. Enjoy your Sunday.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Cheers.
See you in the chat, Corey. Good night. Oh boy. There were a few people in the green room waiting area that have disappeared. So I'm going to put the link back for you if you want to jump on. Please feel free. We will go until everyone's had their voice. Those of you in the chat, I'm coming to you in one hot second. Let me just get to the chat here. Hey Felix. I've sent a few people, I've sent the chat and the viewers your way tonight because the draft right now and your content, your draft insights and content is the only thing that's going to get me through the next few weeks. So if you haven't seen people, what Felix is doing over at Everything Essendon and with his draft account as well, he's keeping us completely in the loop about which players we've got here, which players that we could take, and of course the update on our NGA boys. James, trade Parrish for whatever, he can't be on the list next year. The problem is, when you say whatever, I don't know that any club is going to give us absolutely anything. That's for him. Rogue, Dingo, Lloyd will bash Essendon because he cannot be seen to be favouring them in his punditry privately. I'm sure he's absolutely livid. Yeah, I think so. But I do think there's a certain bitterness that he talks about Essendon with that you don't get when Corns talks about or is bagging Port or when Richo's bagging Richmond. There's just it's an energy. I can't explain it other than that. Eric, why would Harley go to Essendon? Lol. Well, because he's the kind of player who, as I said before, loves the challenge, wants to be part of the solution, loves the big crowds and the big games. But yeah, right now we are rebuilding and we are not in a good place. Oh my God, Richard, please. This would kill me. This will actually kill me dead. So they can play Hogan, no problem. But why don't you just rest Stringer, GWS, if you're tuning in? Jacob. Chris, didn't G just resign? He did. G, I'm not too fussed with because I think he's got a pretty good head on his shoulders. It's the others that Corey mentioned that I don't know. I reckon we could do better. Put it this way. It's not that they're, inherently bad, but I think we can do better, if that makes sense. T Dan, that's a good point and actually spot on. If we had 0 injuries, none of these kids would have gotten a go because Brad would have kept playing the same old team thinking it would work. Possibly. Brett, I never knew that things were that bad. 19 turnovers is inexcusable. It hurts to say, but things need to change. Yes. The leaders need to do better. The leaders absolutely need to do better. Wayne, Dermy. I'm assuming that's in regards to the assistant coach. I think he looks pretty happy with his nice little place in the media at the moment. But, hey, certainly, hey, Craig, yes, Corey Emright. I mean, yeah, he was one of my favourite players during their Geelong era. Absolutely loved watching him play. I think he's doing good things at St Kilda with the tools he's got, basically. Can only do so much. Ethan, worst game ever, absolute rubbish. It absolutely fucking was. Yep. It really, really was. Ardingale, losing culture will embed itself in the team if this goes on for much longer. Yep. Let's do a merger with the next expansion team. Oh, God. Tasmania? Is that who you mean? Josh, thanks for being here, Josh. Should Hurd come back? In my opinion, no. Chat, what's your take on this? I know this is a big one that I see on social media. For me, it's no, because this is just bringing trauma back into the club, and it's not Hurd's fault. It's just energetically, that is what it will feel like. Hey, Smokey Bandit, typical Essendon season collapse every single year. Yep. James, how are you, James? Didn't expect the second half season drop in form this year. Oh, God. Hey, Noel.
Hey, I got a football. Maybe the players should learn what that is. This thing. It's a football. It's flat, but it's a football. So, boys, it's a football. And then the guy at the back goes, "Excuse me, coach, can you speak a bit slower?" It's an old
And
joke.
the only thing is that they don't know how to kick what's in your hand or handball what's in your hand.
Yeah, that's what I just did. I just handballed it because that's what we do. And we handball it to your ankles as well. I mean, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my
Oh, yes, I love Noel. I love when I wait to get Noel on his third glass of wine. Everybody's still here. This is where we go to a next level on Bomber Banter fan cams. This is where all right, what do we got, Noel? Hit me.
I went to the game. I got woken up by an Archer made goal in the third quarter.
Okay. You got woken up, yeah, of course, because the second quarter put everyone to fucking sleep.
What the fuck is going on? Oh, we kicked the goal. Oh my God. You know, they were heading for a record that had never happened in the 1890s, where no side scored a goal in the second and third quarter. That's the last time it's happened. That no side scored a goal, and that was 1898 or some ridiculous time when Carlton did it.
Wow.
So,
and what an awful record to break.
It was about 150 metres long, you know, longer than it is now. But, man, I really felt like just having a beef Wellington half time.
Did you leave early, Noel?
Yeah, Aaron Patterson could have cooked me a beef Wellington. I would have taken it.
Did you stay to the end?
Yeah, I did. I always do. I mean, you don't leave if you're 20 goals in front, so why would you leave when you're 20 goals behind? That's always been my theory. You suffer it, and you go through it, you paid your money, you suffer it. But yes, that was I think there was a tank parked in the back of Marvel of MCG. Honestly, I think they tanked. I really think they're tanking.
Yeah.
The problem was, I think most Essendon supporters went there thinking this is the only win we're going to have for the year. And I reckon the players had that same attitude.
Yeah.
But that game was over when Smartin got injured. I reckon their interest in the game gone. Martin gets injured, they're going, oh fuck, not another injury, and they just, that's it. What's the point?
Maybe
what's the point?
We haven't discussed. We haven't that hasn't come up.
Other people on this, very similar.
You reckon they got flat? They went flat.
Well, I mean, it would. Yeah, you would have to. I mean, what do we feel as supporters? And imagine what they're feeling as players. That's their mates.
True.
That's their mates. They train with every day, you know. And you see another one of your mates going down. You go, what the fuck? What's the point? Why am I even running out on the ground and going through this crap? Yeah. And I can understand why there's been talk in the media about certain players wanting to leave because of the poor medical stuff. You only have to look at Joe Danaher, went to Brisbane, never had an injury. Yeah. And on the coaching, when you've got all the ex-North Melbourne people there, North Melbourne are usually a successful team in the last 10 years, haven't they? You know, you got to look at that too, some of the ex-coaches. But I watched the VFL. There was nothing in the VFL, maybe nothing exciting. Is Gresham too big to play in the VFL? Is Edo too big? Because he didn't play.
He didn't play.
Gresham didn't play. Wasn't in the side. Didn't play. I thought, that's him in the side. No, didn't play.
How did Perkins go?
So Vigo didn't play because he's playing on Thursday.
Yeah. How did Perkins go?
Perkins had a lot of touches, but didn't do much. But he'll get back in anyway. All you people are sooking about him and sooking about Sardis. Sardis he's not up to it. He proved it today. He got the worst midfield he could play against. Yeah, but he had 18 possessions. I reckon he kicked the first goal, I think, or one of the first early goals in the first quarter.
He did.
But I don't think he said well. But he'll play next week though, because we've got nothing else now. And Julian Shield was our best player in the midfield in the VFL, and he played pretty well, so he'll probably come in.
Okay.
And the other guy that was impressive was Ewan. He played he played on the Hawthorn Bruce. He played on Bruce. He held Bruce goalless for 3 quarters and played pretty well on him. Bruce got a couple of goals late. But Yeah, he played pretty well. McMahon's kicked 3 goals, but he got 1 goal in the first quarter from a Joe the Goose when Perkins dropped the mark and landed his hand. He walked into it and kicked a goal. He then got another goal from a missed kick out from the opposition, and he got 1 from the lead late in it. So he got 2 goals in the last quarter. He kicked 3 goals, did nothing. So he's guaranteed to get a game because that's how it works, isn't it?
That's all they have to do.
Yeah. Well, there's only 2 left now, isn't it? It's only McMahon and Ewan. They're the only ones on the list now that haven't got a game, I think.
No, and Unwin.
Unwin. Yeah, well, Unwin didn't do a lot. But he was okay.
But I thought Herbertron, the man has spoken. If Herbertron is calling for this, Noel, then I think you gotta get on a plane and make this happen. Noel, I was told that Davey had an okay game. Did he?
Yeah, David did some nice things. I played him across half back a bit. So
did
the ball was down there a lot, so that helps because when your opposition is flogging you, you're going to get a lot of the footy. But as far as the seniors go, I don't think our backline played all that badly. I don't think we played that badly. Disposal wasn't good.
Yep.
But Laverde was the only player to play 100 minutes. I don't think he ever went off on the bench. I know he had 100 minutes of maybe he might have got a run off in the last quarter, but up to 3/4 time he'd been 100 minutes on the ground, and I don't think he played too badly, Laverde, considering.
Noel, we forgot one. Moby coming in with the goods. We forgot Jerine. So there's 4.
Yeah, Jerine didn't. Jerine's not ready yet. I don't. Yeah, but then I said that about Luau, so who knows my expertise. But
I think he's pretty cool.
Nice things. But we're getting to the point where we just play them all because we've got nobody left. We may as well just play them.
Yeah.
What have we got left? To me, I spent quite a bit of time thinking up jokes, working on material. I came up with the idea that we've got to change things. Like they changed Redskins into Red Rippers, right? So I thought we should change fairy floss to non-binary floss. Yeah, that was just a silly joke.
I don't know where you're going here. If I have to, I don't want to get cancelled, Noel. So
no, it's okay.
You just make sure.
But yeah, look, Clark had an ordinary game, but we can give him a mulligan for that because I think he's been pretty good. Most of the young kids were pretty good. I was surprised they made Johnson sub though.
That's the Redmond effect.
Yeah, but I don't know who else you would have made a sub other than Oscar Smart, and that would have been mean. So I thought maybe Pryor could have been sub. So Pryor was okay. He had 14 possessions, but did he do much with them?
No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give him a pass.
I looked great today, Coach. I got 30 touches. I kicked the ball to the opposition 92 times, but that's okay. I got 30 touches. I reckon that's the attitude the players had. Yeah, I got a few touches. We're kicking the ball sideways and backwards, so builds up my stats. We had 3 or 4 opportunities where we should have kicked goals and we didn't. We missed some easy chances. The same could be said in the VFL. In the second quarter in the VFL, we were in the game and we missed. Menzies missed from point blank range. McMahon missed from point blank range. There was a couple of others. There's a kid who played in the ruck. He played a couple of weeks ago, and he had 48 hit-outs or something in his debut. And he played Montgomery, I think his name is, or Moncrief, something like that. But he didn't do too bad considering he was up against. The Hawks had several AFL players in that team, including Mitch Lewis, who kicked 6. So they had a pretty solid. They had a pretty solid side box hill. So, considering who they were playing a lot of top up players, we just don't have any players, and that's really where we're at, isn't it? I mean, we're at that situation. But I was listening to Joe on the way, so waiting for my bus to get home. Geez, the MCG is hard to get out of. Freaking hell, it's a hard place to get out of. Because I was thinking, well, maybe I should just get the train home, because I get the train because I live in St Kilda, so get in the train home, go to get to Richmond Station, get off at Southern Cross and get me tram, and that would probably be quicker than waiting for the bus. But
but lucky you got Bomber Banter to listen to as entertainment.
Yeah. Well, I was listening to I had some random music come on, and the song that came on was called "Dumb Guy" by the Arrogant Worms. And I just thought, yeah, perfect. One of the lines in the Dumb Guy says, "Not only do we praise them, we also vote for them." That was the Dumb Guy song. There's a line in there, we vote for them, we even elect them.
Hey, Moby, Noel was just saying that Mitch Lewis in the VFL, and yes, definitely not Essendon tonight. We couldn't even manage 6 goals in the whole game, let alone in the VFL match.
6-6. And then Bruce got a couple towards the end, but their ruckman, flogged us in the middle. He's a senior ruckman, so you can't expect a lot. The VFL girls had a win. They had a big win. The VFL W, they had a big win.
So where do we go to? Where do we go to from here, Noel, with the seniors?
I think with Denton, I think honestly they don't care. And if you have a look at the competition, the bottom 9 have got nothing to play for. There's no reason for them to even bother, because the 8's pretty much sorted. The 8's pretty much sorted, right? And what's the gap now? 2 games, I think, between 10th and 8th. So what are you going to play?
Just about,
Yeah. So the rest of the teams are just going to play kids. And that's what we're doing. Yeah. We might as well tank. We hope the North wins tomorrow, so they beat Melbourne. At least it gives us something to hope for. And my tips were ruined today. I was on a perfect run. I picked GWS, and I picked the Suns. So I was looking pretty good for.
Did you pick us? Did you pick us though?
I did. Yeah, I did tip us. Well, I mean, we should have been winning this one today. This was the game. This really was the game. I think nearly everybody supported it was going there today, so it thought, well, this is the game we're going to win. This is the one, the only win we're going to get for the year. Although we're hoping that we beat Carlton and give Voss a sack. That might make a few of us a bit more happier. If we can knock off Carlton. Not that I want to see Michael Voss lose his job. He's not a bad bloke. He's an all right fella.
No, I think Voss should keep his job. I think they should re-sign him for another 5.
Well, they should keep him on, because look, Richmond were going to get rid of Hardwick at one stage, weren't they? And
that's right.
They were talking about giving him the flick, and then suddenly, they found it. They got it together. Does Brad Scott take some blame for the game? Did they? I think they went defensive in the second quarter. I think both coaches went defensive in the second quarter, because it was a pretty open first quarter. The first quarter was pretty flowing.
But weren't they playing too much? Like, I just can't stand this. Like, with the young kids, I know it's helping their development, but this zone defense. I know it's teaching them good habits. I do, but the temptation must have been there for the coaches to go one-on-one from the ground. Looking at the ground, did you look at it from a wide perspective? Like, did you look?
Yeah, well, I was up in the nosebleed section.
Okay.
The Essendon defence had sort of formed a triangular defence. So when you went forward, we had sort of a triangle defence. So 4 men at the back and then 3 at the front, sort of.
But no one actually manning up on a play.
But then that just closed in the run up, because no one was running. No, other than Roberts, who went into the game with the right attitude from the start, and does with every game he plays. We played this defensive mindset after quarter time, and I think Richmond did the same thing, because they. I think was it Joe was on earlier? So they played as bad as we did.
Yeah.
I mean, they turned it over. They kept giving us free shot, free kick. The ball would go straight to us. The amount of times that Ridley was able to just take a mark on his own, Laverde took a mark, Pryor taking marks. There was no no one there. Richmond just bombing it in. I think I saw nearly as much bombing as we've seen in Iraq recently between both sides. It was just, look, it was great to see Blackiston play in the ruck.
Yes, he played more ruck. Yep.
Yeah, the guy can't kick too well, but you can see that he's got the right attitude. He wants to do well. He's playing, he runs hard. He attacks the footy well, and I think he did some nice things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe we're going to go in next week with Blackiston and Vigo.
Yeah, and Wright, I guess. Yep, and Wright.
And Peter Wright,
yep,
pinch hitter.
Up against.
I would like them to keep Wright out of the ruck and keep him in the forward line and try and.
Well, they tried.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they tried to do tonight by making Blackiston ruck so much.
Yeah, and he didn't have a great day. Peter Wright didn't have a great day.
No, but, he did not.
But it's interesting. I don't know. The attitude to me, I think the game was over once Martin went off. In their minds, the game was over.
Yeah, I certainly felt very, very flat and affected by it. I couldn't focus. I couldn't focus myself because I was worried about Martin, to be honest, and worried about having another injury. But anyway, Noel.
Yeah, I was hearing things on the radio. There was a hamstring, there was an ankle. They were all guessing on the radio too.
Of course they were.
One of the comedy venues I was working at has closed down due to a sewerage problem, which was interesting. I performed there and the place went to shit. So maybe it's got something to do with me. But that same smell was coming out of the MCG on the way home because that was an absolute stinker. Richmond people were trying to go up to me going, I said, mate, I wouldn't be celebrating that.
Yeah,
I would
nobody.
Football
literally lost tonight. Football was the loser in general. But all right, Noel, I'll leave it there. Thank you so much as always.
We survived another one.
We did,
and like it or not, I'll be there again next week to go through the pain and suffering because it brings resilience and toughness.
Absolutely, Noel. See you next week.
Go Bomber boys.
Bye.
Stay positive and eat your mushrooms.
Okay, bye. All right. We're going to get to our Brad Scott update through our Brad Scott represent in 1 second. But, chat, I know there's a few trolls hanging about, and I just want to say, just keep it. We're allowed to talk about whatever we like. If we want to mention other clubs for a hot minute, no problem. No judging, okay? Safe space. We suck. We are lamenting together. We are catharting together. All right, let's get an update. Talk to me about the presser, Davo.
How are you?
Oh, I'm questioning my life's choices, and the balcony's looking pretty good, and all that. The chat's arguing. I don't know why I'm doing this. So, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm a bit tired. That was a long drive today, but it was okay. It was okay. I'm glad I listened to the game on the radio and not on the TV because it could have.
I can't imagine it would have been any better on. I can't imagine it would have been any better on the radio.
The radio was very. They thought Merritt played a really good game. Like I think Guy McKenna gave Merritt two votes. So that was interesting. I hadn't seen him play. I don't know how he played, but him and Archie Roberts probably were spoken about the most on the radio and stuff from an Essendon point of view. But Brad Scott, what did he say? Firstly, I think Scott mentioned it before, but it's 80% ACL, and Setterfield is done for the year as well. It's a serious injury. Yeah, so
Does anybody actually know, or do you know, Dave, what he actually did? Was it like did he get trod on, or did he did he roll his ankle, or what was it actually?
What he did, but they said he was walking around like both sides of his feet were iced up after the game and stuff. So he was even walking on the ground afterwards and stuff. But they said he's likely going to need surgery. Brad Scott said he's likely going to need surgery. It's pretty serious. So I wouldn't be counting him on for the rest of the year. What else did he say? He said it was an ugly game. He said that's not how AFL is supposed to be played. He's trying. He was pretty downbeat. He was pretty downbeat. Like, he was trying to be positive, but it's hard. Yeah. He said it's hard given tonight. He said it's just so hard with players coming in, not knowing who they're playing with each week and stuff. And the word he used, if you watch the press conference later, the word he used probably about 15 or 20 times was the word synergy. So he just said there's no synergy with the team, and that he said, having said that, there were a lot of skill errors and stuff like that. He said collectively the group of kids probably played their worst game.
Yes.
Collectively, and he said that's fine. Like, you kind of expect that, but unfortunately, all the kids are in the team playing collectively their worst game and stuff. So, and that's just the way it is really at the moment. Unfortunately, rookie players are going to make rookie errors, and they did tonight. He said he can't think of any time in his time in football that it's been this bad. So
injuries.
Yeah. I'm assuming he's talking about injuries and stuff. He's asking for people who haven't played AFL to handle week in, week out what they're meant to be doing and stuff. So a lot of these kids, whilst they're getting used to playing AFL, they're just not kind of gelling as well as they probably would if they were building up to playing an AFL team and stuff. So he's obviously talking about the 12 rookies that have come in. At the same time, he said there's going to be more. He said Vigo will probably play on Thursday, and will probably play a few more times throughout the year. But he said that there's going to be more debutants between now and the end of the year. And given we've just lost 2 players, I know the other guys are, have played in the twos today. I don't know how well they played, but yeah, he said, what else did he say? He said 80 in that second quarter, and that was awful listening to that on the radio, because they were laughing at both Essendon and Richmond. He said 80% of that second quarter was in Essendon's forward half.
Yeah,
80%, and we kicked 6 points.
That's a disgrace.
And he said the skills going in to Caddy and Peter Wright, they just weren't. You can't have Kako running towards all of his players all the time, and Kako was probably one of the best. He said one of the best guys delivering the ball into the team.
Hands down.
What did he say? 55 entries for the game, and they kicked 4 goals. So that's 7%.
Oh my God! When you break it down in percentage, how embarrassing! Oh my God! You'll have Auskick clinics done today and tomorrow that score more than that.
Yeah. Well, they were people rang in after the game saying, "Did what was the Auskick score? Was it better than the 7 goals or however many goals were scored
easily
for that game?" So he said the upside is to all of this, the players know the level that they have to achieve and they have to get to. So it will no doubt benefit them in the training sessions, and then certainly in the off season. So it'll help a lot in the preseason when they're because they know the level and the standard that they have to reach now and stuff. So, like all of us, we're probably hoping to fucking God that that's the case, and they kind of, as long as they're on the park, that they can kind of strive to get there. The 12-month injuries.
This is very funny, NVD. Well done. I was very amused by this.
Using the ball into 50 because it was shocked by
Yeah, it just he was just so shocked at actually kicking into 50 and not just chaotically putting it inside 50. Honestly, you just got to laugh at this point. Go on, Dave.
Said the 12-month injuries are hitting the morale. So,
oh fuck, that's hard to hear.
Yeah,
that's hard to hear.
And at quarter time, that once the word kind of got around about in the huddle about Martin's injury and that, it really it did hit them. It did hit them quite hard.
Fuck. So Noel was right. Noel was bang on about that.
What did he say?
He said that like the Martin injury would have subconsciously flattened the group, because subconsciously they know that the injury conversation is happening in the background, and then they've just got another injury to one of their leaders who's potentially got an ACL. That I mean, as I said, sitting at home, that rattled me a little bit. Can you imagine what it does to these half a team of young kids? Hey, chat, does anybody know, just before you go on, Dave, can anybody tell me who was the younger side tonight? I know I'm not using it as excuses. I just want to know from my own mind, who was the younger team, how many games played and experienced Richmond versus us were they? Does somebody know the numbers on that? If you do, just let me know in the chat. But yeah, you're right on that. And it would have filtered through. We're stupid to think it doesn't filter through, through coaches about Martin.
Yeah. He said Martin's such a unique player that it's going to be, it's very difficult to replace that type of person.
Oh, God. I haven't even thought about having to replace him.
So he said that in order to kind of get something out of it now, out of the rest of the season and that, they've been trying to, they need to simplify the game plan even more, because these guys haven't trained for the game plan. They just don't know. I mean, they've trained in the VFL game plan and everything like that, and they just haven't. Again, that word synergy. There's no synergy in what they're doing and what the people forward of them are expecting to kind of come their way. So they're just going to.
If you think about it, let's create a realistic picture here. So we lost 2 injuries tonight, right? I know we've got, say, Shield can probably come in, Perkins probably comes back in, Gresham can come back in. But if we're averaging two injuries a week, whether that be on training and games, and then we have 4 players left who could actually come in and have a debut in McMahon, Nguyen, Jarine and Unwin. Like, if we're averaging 2 injuries a week, the math isn't ending up here. We may literally actually have to put into the AFL for a permission to use VFL listed players, because.
Well, didn't West Coast do that was it last year or the year before? West Coast did that when
did they?
I'm pretty sure they did, when they were going in that, whatever the last season that Adam Simpson was coaching, when West Coast had all those injuries. I'm pretty sure they had to get approval to play non-registered, like non-AFL list players. I'm pretty sure.
That will spark. If we get to that point, I wasn't really buying. I wasn't buying into the whole players won't come to Essendon because of the injury crisis, and the current players don't care about it. They're not worried that much. But if we have to do that, I will start to question absolutely everything if it gets to that point.
Yeah. 25. Oh, he said even with 55 entries in, so what they're going to concentrate on this week is the that 55 entries for only 4 scoring shots. So he said out of those 55, 25 times they kept it in for 30 stoppages and stuff. So they're keeping it in the forward line. but they're just not converting. So it's staying in there, but then they're not converting those stoppages. So that's what they're going to concentrate on this week.
Well, I'm sick of hearing that. Like, I'm sick of this has been the story. Like, not to you. I'm not yelling at you, Dave.
I know.
But I'm sick of hearing that that's the problem. I want to see some actual tangible like improvement in this area.
I don't know where, if the improvement's going to come not necessarily from the coaching, it's got to come from consistency and stuff. And that's what that's what the club and the players can't give us. They can't give us consistency because, it's 3 players. There's, you've got Caddy and Kako and Peter Wright in the forward line, and that's kind of it. The rest of
But isn't the most important part of this? But isn't the most important part of the synergy? So that synergy for me is the connection between the mids and the halfbacks entering and getting it in the forward line. So if we're conceding that it's doing fine and they're getting it in there, why is there not enough? And granted, it's getting in there, but it's not like through contested marks, and we're not hitting forwards. But if it's getting in there and it's hitting the ground, too often we're not making enough of those ground balls. Those ground balls are not translating to actual scores and goals. That is what we need to be doing better at.
Yep. And that's probably, my opinion is some of that's got to do with not having a recognised ruckman kind of in there, because when it hits the forward line, 2 metre Peter's kind of doing the ruck work in the forward line. Goldstein's generally not kind of rucking in there, and you're kind of having to rely on every time Durham and sometimes Merritt. Merritt put himself. They were saying on the radio, Merritt put himself in the forward line in that last quarter just to be able to kind of help out when the ball was kind of going there, because it sounded like the ball kind of went in.
But he was junk too.
A lot.
He was junk too. He didn't use it well. He did go in the forward line and he was junk when he went down there.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It'd be interesting. I won't watch it tonight because I want to watch Wimbledon tonight, but I'll tomorrow.
Who's playing? Who's playing, Dave?
The women's finals on tonight. I think it starts in probably 10 or 20 minutes.
Is it? Who's playing? Is it Sabalenka? Or no, she lost, didn't she?
She lost to that American Russian Anisimova, and that Swiatek, the Polish girls playing. So those 2 are playing in the final.
Okay. I think I need to turn my attention to something else.
It'll be good. He said synergy and connection. We need more synergy and connection. He's giving the skills a bit of a pass on the skills going forward, but it was clearly a terrible game. Talking about depth of talent. He was asked a question about is there enough depth of talent in the league for Tasmania and then probably a 20th team to come in? And he said absolutely there is. You wouldn't have players like Nick Martin, Sam Durham, who have all been picked up out of supplementary drafts and things like that. He said, but the time taken to develop the talent, that's where like the work needs to be done and stuff.
It's lacking. Yeah. Severely
not
lacking.
Just Essendon, I think. Yeah, I think it's everywhere across the board.
The AFL put no resources into. They think they do, but they don't put near enough. They just want to create. Let's just create another club, generate more money that way. But then when there's 9 teams at the bottom of the ladder that can't play finals and are essentially playing for nothing, well, you look at the VFL. You look at the VFL competition. There's a trail. If you trace it back, there's clear evidence as to why it's happening. But the AFL just no, there's nothing wrong. We'll just, put the blinkers up.
Well, the VFL is its own kind of problem and stuff. And I don't think, has the AFL even done anything like to actually look at it holistically and saying we need a second tier competition, but it needs to be aligned with the first tier competition in some way, shape, or form, because at the moment it's just not. So,
and you see the skill level being so poor. This is why.
Yeah, but they're not. I mean, most of those players in the second tier are not professional, so
that's why
turning up to play, and that's why exactly. What else? Not the capabilities there with all the players, but there's just no continuity. There's only 5 days until the next game, so they've just got to keep on fronting up. Like he said, he was that downbeat. He was that downbeat that he said, it's even hard for me. I've got to, the guys have just got to know that they've got to put this aside because in 4 days' time or 5 days' time, they're going to do it again. So most of the first year players struggled, and it's frustrating because they have so many more debutants to come in. So, the frustration might not end here. It's still gonna, still gonna go.
Oh, goody. So chat or whoever's here, just remember that this could, how you're feeling right now, could actually get much, much worse.
He was asked about Archie Perkins again, what's going on with Archie and stuff. And he said, is Archie going to come in? And he goes, look, Archie's, the reason why Archie went down to the seconds is because he wasn't making good decisions and he needed to be able to play in an environment where he could get his confidence back and stuff. But, and I don't know how they played today and stuff, and he didn't really comment on that, but that was he spoke about that. And then they said, was that the same reason for Gresham? And he said, he kind of thought about it for a second. He said, yes, but we thought Oscar Smart was a better fit for the team tonight. So what that means, and they said on the radio that Oscar Smart was kind of off the ball. He was really trying to kind of get under the opposition's under Richmond's skin and stuff like that. So he was doing his bit, but he's only, how old is he? 19 and 18 or 19, and we're asking him to kind of do what you would expect a well-seasoned kind of player to do. So I think that's it.
That was incredible. Thank you so much, Dave. I have literally been waiting for this summation. You absolutely nail it every week. It's almost my favorite part. I think the biggest thing you said just then is like the reminder that this could actually be worse, get worse. In fact, next week when Jake Stringer kicks, as someone said, 6 goals, I think it was Richard tonight who said he could actually kick 6 goals. That's what he means by it could get worse. So, but don't worry, I will be here. Bomber Banter will be here for you all, no matter what. Committed and sometimes questioning why. But absolutely committed to the end till we do a fan cam after a premiership that we have won. I will be here with you on the fan cam, so you can lock that in, Eddie, as they say. Thank you so much, Dave. I'll let you go watch Wimbledon. I'm gonna very, very soon go off and have my shower and then sit down with a glass of wine and watch it too, so I can forget this night. Basically, not the fan cams, but the stuff that came before then that was called football but didn't look like a football club.
Didn't sound like it either, that's for sure. Have a good night.
Thanks so much, Dave. Appreciate you so much. Bye.
Ciao.
All right, I'm going to get to my very last guest in one quick second. Let's check out what's going on in the chat here. Hey, Josh, how are you? If we had Dodoro, I still guarantee you would be fighting for deconing. Oh, my God. I said this to somebody the other day. We would literally be in this race up to our eyeballs. Up to our eyeballs. And maybe I can let me paint you the picture. We wouldn't be offering 1.7 million, but we'd be saying, oh, you're playing Anzac Day and, big club and you're playing Dreamtime. So we'll offer you 1.4 million and you get all that other stuff, So we would be, this is 100% correct. 100%. Bomber Boss. Fiona, can you please be our coach? I'm here for you all here on fan cams, but coach, no. I mean, the way that I hear and see some people talk about Brad Scott, Oh man, I don't think my heart could take that. Like I've done a lot of work on myself, so I can respect that, and I've said on here before that if you're not in the arena getting your ass kicked as well and being vulnerable and real and relatable and putting yourself out there, then your opinion does not matter to me, and your version of me in your head does not matter to me. But I tell you what, the thick skin you have to be a AFL coach. Insane. Hey, Darren, how are you? The forwards don't know when to lead or how to position themselves. The mid-delivery are also putrid. Combine the two, we get what we saw. Yeah, spot on. Absolutely spot on. Spot on. Moby, the VFL's a laughing stock. Amen. Absolutely. Josh, who do you personally think we should be traded for either established stars or go to the draft? Oh, gosh. What are we? We're at 1 a.m. now. I have thoughts, but probably you don't want to hear them right now, I don't think. Maybe I'll do a little short video on it. What do you reckon? Do you want me to do something like that? Just a short 5-minute. Might do that during the week for you all. Jack. Yes. Everybody, I'm going to pause for 1 second because that is how long it's going to take you to do that. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe. That was the 1 second and maybe a few little more. You reckon, Moby, does he get a second game? I think he does. I don't think we can judge him at all from that. At all. Who are you talking about, Bomber Boss, with this? Who's worth 800 at most? Who's that? Josh. Oscar looks very disappointed tonight. Yeah, you would. I mean, I don't think Johnson's got a... Has Johnson got a win? No. Definitely May hasn't got a win yet and Blackiston hasn't got a win. I know that for a fact. But Johnson, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think he's had a Gatorade shower either. Yeah. Oh, Joe coming through with the goods. All right, Essendon versus Richmond for age and experience. 24.3 years versus 25, so like a year's difference, and 79.7 versus 90. Wow, that's where the difference lies, guys, in the game's experience. And that's with Goldstein at like 300 and how many games is he at? That's pretty big. That's 20 less games experience. And they've got a handful of premiership players, of course, but that's big and telling. Exactly. I probably will, even if I'm in a nursing home and I'm not sure what the technology is, then maybe I'll have a robot AI able to do it, and I don't know, who knows what it will look like, but absolutely I will. I'm committed now. We are doing a fan cams literally after a premiership win. I actually don't anymore, Moby. I don't watch them. Joe asked me that last week. I don't watch any of the videos back. All right, Mars, let's talk. Talk to me. Thanks for being so patient. You're home from the game. You went tonight. I know you're probably disappointed, aren't you?
I would have rather gone. I don't know.
Would have rather gone and watch, the traffic on Punt Road, right?
Yeah, I would have loved to watch the Australia flag just wave there for 2 hours and not watch that. What an awful game to choose to go to. I'm at a loss for words to this football club. And it doesn't get any better either. As Noel said, this is only going to get worse and worse and worse. We'll just have to stick and bear it, to be honest. I didn't see Nick Martin injury. I was gobsmacked that he went off injured because I was on the other side of the wing when he got injured. I had no idea that he went off injured. So I heard that at half time. I didn't know that quarter time. I didn't know that till half time that he went off injured. So, cheers to that. Didn't know Setterfield went off, but both of them are out for the season now. It has been confirmed that he probably has a ruptured ACL, so he's out for the next 12 months, Martin.
Yeah, that's devastating.
Knowing Lockett's probably done his Achilles. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. But yeah, second quarter. Let me point this out. Fun fact: second quarter, Caddy or Kako neither touched the ball. They didn't touch the ball once. Neither of them. May had that one disposal that whole quarter, that second quarter, and we were in there 80% of the time. Explain how that works.
Are you sure?
We were in there majority of that second quarter, and we didn't kick a goal.
No, but are you sure they didn't have a touch?
I'm sure they didn't have a touch. They didn't touch the ball once. Didn't kick, didn't handball, didn't touch the ball once. Chat can go over that and look at that stats because I just looked at it and they didn't touch the ball once.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I'm gobsmacked that they didn't touch that ball.
You've verified the stats. I don't know how that works. If the ball was in there 80% of the time, wow.
And they didn't touch the ball.
So who touched it?
Richmond players.
Yeah.
We let a bunch of 12-year-olds beat up on us.
Yep.
I love this club and I'm going to stick with them through and through, but God, I am fed up with everyone making excuses after excuses, saying we're going to do this better next week. There's no fucking improvement.
Yeah.
And I'm sick of it. Brad Scott goes, there's no excuses. Yeah, you're damn right. There's no excuses for this football club anymore. We've been the same football club for 10 plus years.
Yeah. 2 decades now. I don't care what
anyone says on the media. These boys deserve what they're going to get. And it should be a wake up to reality because out there tonight, that's not a game of football. Brad Scott said on a press conference, that's not an AFL standard game of football.
In fairness, Richmond wasn't either. They didn't, again, as who said it tonight? I can't quite remember who said it, but I think it was Joe. They didn't win it. We just didn't turn up.
No. And it's no excuse that Martin got injured. That's not an excuse to go down. We should be lifting our heads up saying, we need to do this for Martin because he's gone off injured and we need to win this game. It should be a wake-up call of reality going, all right, one of our players down. This is where we need to put our heads up and start working our asses off again.
Good point.
Drop their heads,
Good point, Mars. Good point, Mars. But I think that's where that is clear as day as to how, bereft of leadership and players who can just completely galvanize this squad. It's understandable that young players don't feel like that and don't feel like don't feel energized to play for an injured player. But our experienced player, Merritt, should have just said, everyone come in here now. We're going to do it for Marto,
Merritt had no leadership over that group tonight.
Yeah.
I'll give you right now. He's supposed to be our captain. He's not our captain. He's just another player on that field. I'm sorry. He's done nothing for the last 4 weeks. I haven't seen him do anything probably that good, maybe since Brisbane, probably past that North Melbourne.
Well, last week he was best on against Gold Coast.
Yeah. He was best on, but again, I mean...
But he wasn't at his best, yeah. I can see his kicking is let him down this year.
On the positive side, I mean, Archie Roberts, really good game again. I don't know. Yep. He's the only person on that field today that actually gave a shit of what that game.
Yes, it felt like that. Oh my God, it felt like he was the only one who gave a shit. You're right. He
was the only one
Ridley
that gave
to me.
And Ridley did well, yeah. The backline held up well for what it was. I mean, with no Mackay, no Reid, but also really good news for Essendon fans. Mackay said on his podcast that he'll be back sooner than later. So I'm probably going to expect that's like another 2-3 weeks away before he comes back too. So thank God. We know Reid's out for the season, but I mean,
fucking finally an update. That's what I can say. We've been in the dark about Mackay. Just nothing.
He's back sooner than later, so I'm going to guess that's another 2-3 weeks away. Hopefully.
Okay, well that gives me some positivity that it's not season ending
for us. Sardist, we've all hyped him up too much, and again, nothing came out of him today. He kicked a goal. Congratulations. Whoop, whoop. Well done. You've gotten one goal. I mean,
sorry,
mate. You'll kick one goal. No, get out. I don't care. It's that point of where this club is at. Oh my God. And then Shield comes back in, Perkins comes back in, Gresham comes back in. Ewan, all of our debutants, all of our AFL list is getting debuted. I don't see it another physically where possible. Ewan bring everyone in at this rate because this football club, I'm through with it. No more excuses, no more hiding around it. If you're gonna be like this, I'm cancelling everything, my memberships, everything. I'm done. Terry on Blue Abroad probably would say the same thing about Carlton. I mean, it's the same thing every week.
Yeah. I hear you.
Fun fact. We haven't won a game since we burst Richmond last time.
Yeah, I did know that fact. Yeah, it's painful to say the absolute fucking least. But something we have this year that we have not had before is Bomber Banter. And
this is the only thing I look forward to throughout the whole week, to be honest. This is the only thing I look forward to.
Well, that makes me very happy. I hope this club I hope the performance in the club doesn't slowly beat me down to the point where I can't physically do this or emotionally do this. But yeah, I feel you, Muzz. I do. I absolutely do. Tonight felt different than a lot the rest of the losses this year.
It's not even the players' fault too. It's the inside the club. It's the physios. It's the doctors. It's the medical team. It's everyone inside that club.
Yeah. It's
not just the players, and there's no more excuses around this club anymore.
Yeah.
We need to clean this club out completely and re-go in. Forward line coaches, back line, they all got spoken about earlier. Completely agree. Lloyd has every single right to go off at this club now because this is not acceptable.
Yeah.
We as fans, we do not deserve this. This is putrid. I said to my mates tonight that I went to football with, if Essendon Richmond teamed up and we became the Essendon Tigers, for example, North Melbourne and West Coast could beat us. We were that bad, both sides. Think of that.
It's true. It's depressing. It's depressing, and because you're right.
It's so sad. And
I can only laugh.
For how many years?
You're right. The Essendon Tigers. There's a new one for you. Oh my God, I can't believe the words that are coming out of my mouth. I feel dirty. I need to go have a shower saying that, but fuck. I have a group chat where we joke often that even if we tried to pick the best 22 from St Kilda, Kangaroos and Essendon, we still wouldn't win a final. I think it's getting to. So this is how we're entertaining ourselves and getting through it. So we will get through it here in this community, and you know, this year maybe we have a pass. Well, when I say pass, don't misinterpret me, chat and people here. It's not a pass. It's a factual. It's a fact. We have all these injuries, so you know that is going to play a extremely big role in what is happening at the moment. But I tell you what, next year the attitude and the expectation is going to go to the next level.
I want to see improvement from this club. If I don't see improvement, you're not going to see me at a game next year at all because I'm through with this club and what they produce tonight. If they produce this next week, or Thursday night, we have a game against GWS. Look at the odds for that already.
I don't want to.
I dare someone to look at the odds.
I don't want to.
It's our home game. We're $5.10 to their 50 cents or something stupid. We're going to get absolutely demolished. Stringer's going to kick 10.
Yeah.
And go up on merit. We're going to have another 3 injuries next week.
Let's touch all the wood. I mean, I feel like I've been touching wood all year and it's done me absolutely jack shit. So there's not enough wood.
Touch wood, touch grass. Go outside.
Okay, that wasn't supposed to sound dirty, everyone, but I mean there's not enough wood. There is not enough wood to touch in this world to prevent Essendon injury. So this is where we've got to. It's 1 a.m. and we're in the realm of wood. So
1:15.
All right, Muzz.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, Muzz. We might leave it there,
the only positive thing.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you had to endure that, but you know what? You're here. We'll go on. We've got 5 days. Prime time to look forward to. Prime time Thursday.
7 weeks left of football. Yay.
And then and then off season. Just think.
Yeah, well, let's admit this. Our whole injury list is going to go kaput again. Fun for us. Stick
All
with
righty,
it. Stick
all
with
righty,
that.
Muzz.
This is the only fun
Go.
thing we have now.
That's exactly right. I'll be here. You'll be here. Everyone will be here in the chat
Every
having
single
fun.
week until we win a flag.
Exactly. Put it in the books. All right,
Will
Mars,
do.
go have a good
Thanks,
night's
Deanna.
sleep, and we'll talk to you during the week.
Will do. Bye.
Good night. Bye. All right, chat. Yeah, that was funny, guys. You have entertained me tonight. The Moby said Muds the cookies. Yeah. I haven't actually checked if anybody won the cookies. I was too depressed, so I'm so sorry. I'm very sorry. Did anybody? If anybody thinks that they tipped, they picked right, let me know and I'll go back and check. Excellent dry delivery. It was. He really matched. He mirrored how I felt inside, internally. You know, deep down. Rogue, come on, Merritt's been the best club for years. Yeah, he has. He absolutely has, but it doesn't make him immune. I'm just conscious to not make him immune to criticism, because it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse for, bad leadership or bad behaviour. And I know it's exhausting emotionally, but I just want to be careful that he's not immune to, the criticism as well. Darren coming in with the realism. Who should we have beaten in the last 5 weeks? Expectations, people. We are where we are. You're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah. I know you're right. Yeah, and Joe, you're spot on. No supporter base will ever convince me that they are not the most loyal. No supporter base would have stuck fat like we have through the saga, through 20 years of mediocrity. I know, teams like Carlton haven't won flags for years, and teams like St Kilda have won one flag in 150 years, but the saga was in a league of its own. No club, no smaller club or with less loyal supporters or less passionate supporters survives that. And that is something we wear with pride, and we wear with pride. Oh, okay. This is, what did Moby say? Yeah, after dark. I'm sorry, guys. That went somewhere I didn't mean to take it. I shouldn't be encouraging that, but as you say, Moby, it is after dark. And on that note, one last second to hit that like button for me. This is officially the longest fan cam since I started. I wanted everybody to get their say. Have absolutely loved all the newbies tonight. Thank you for coming on. Have absolutely loved talking and meeting a lot of you actually tonight who came on. There are a few of you floating around the studio, so definitely please come back and join us again. Would absolutely love to chat to you. Thank you. Thank you so much, chat. You've been great. You've made me laugh as usual tonight. I certainly feel better. I really do. I am not just saying that. I think you know me. You don't know me personally, but I'd like to think that you could. I'd like to think that you all can tell the organic Fiona, the natural me. I kind of don't know any other way, and you will pick up straight away when I'm being inauthentic because I don't shield it very well. So the me that you're getting is the me that I am. And so when I say that you have really honestly made me I feel better, I genuinely mean that. And you have all, despite a few trolls here tonight, I think we handled it pretty well, and the chat came to the rescue and kind of kept things tracking on. So, Bruce, yeah, I know I saw that you just got home from the game. It was horrible, but hopefully some joy, some distraction, some therapy here. Maury, the first time you've tuned in, well, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it, and welcome to the community. It's been amazing. You've all been amazing. I'm going to go have a shower, a sleep, and I might watch some of that Wimbledon that Dave was talking about. What are you all? Hey, Jay Baggers, long time no see. What are you night owls? What are you guys doing? Going to bed now, or are you? What are you? I can't even get out my words. I mean, are you cracking on? Are you watching something good on TV? What are you doing? All right, that's the universe telling me to piss off. Big love. Take care. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy your Sunday. I will bring you a post replay review today. Maybe there are a few good games of football on today, so I definitely want to watch those. and then you'll have your forecast, Fiona's forecast, Monday night. Moby, you're off to the hangar. Thank you. Take some sage. Take a monk. Take a priest. Take everyone with you to the hangar. Thank you, James. Take care, everyone. I'll talk to you during the week. Chin up, sleep well, and I'll talk to you all soon.